What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kinda Funny Gamescast for Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside no one at the moment. Of course, this is a very special Gamescast. We have been live for the past hour, plus reacting to the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, the Direct. To end all directs. And of course, when we end that, we go right into the Gamescast post-show. So I said, everybody get your coffees, go to the bathroom. I can kick this off and remind everybody that this is the Kinda Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we talk to you about the biggest topics in video games, reviews, previews, things we need to talk about. We do it here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, go ahead and pick up that Kinda Funny membership. Of course, the Kinda Funny membership gets all of our shows. That's more than $80 a month ad-free. And of course, you get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, and a one-on-one podcast series I do called Greg Way. I guess it's 1 on 0, but it's 1 on million. I talk alone. It's just me talking. Don't worry about it. Of course, no bucks tossed away, no big deal. Like, subscribe, share wherever you're getting this platform and this podcast. Remember, of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, which is a free 30-day sub to give to the gifter of your or a sub channel of your choice. Remember,
don't forget that if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime.
it doesn't auto-renew, so you need to set a reminder. They don't want you to remember you have that benefit. If you are hanging out with us live right now, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, get your super chats in to be part of this show. We're going to want your reviews of the Nintendo Switch Direct, your reviews and questions about the Nintendo Switch 2, what you thought of Mario Kart, what you thought of Donkey Kong. There's a lot to cover, and we will be doing that for quite some time before, of course, Gary Whitta comes in with Paris Lily to do your one and only Kinda Funny Games Daily. After that, it's going to be an extra long Pokemon stream to celebrate Nintendo, so a lot of good stuff. You will be getting a Kinda Funny membership exclusive, Greg Way, of course, when I'm done with all of this, and I can do that, so look forward to that. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Anatoly Ast, Delaney Twining, Carl Jacobs, and Omega Buster. Today, we're brought to you by Lost Skies, Monaco 2, and Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with topic of the show. Andy, you've done it. You've lived the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. And I would be a fool to ask you, what was the best thing you saw? Because I assume you're going to nerd out about this From Software game.
The Duskbloods.
Great name. Great name.
A exclusive Nintendo game directed by Miyazaki.
Yeah.
I could not have predicted it. You could not have said anything more wild than that to me.
What if this morning I had said that to you? Like, I heard this rumor.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight Silksong being in a in a fucking supercut, unbelievable. This is insane. I couldn't tell because of the art direction initially on. It didn't have the makings and looks of.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes,
I have breaking.
You have a press release.
I have breaking news from my press release.
Holy shit!
The Nintendo Switch 2 launches June 5th at $449.99.
I called it.
There you go, everybody. $449.99.
Greg, Tim said I was crazy.
You know what?
He also said definitely
OLED.
beer.
But that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation about what's happening over there. Yes, for official press release here from Nintendo, $449.99. We will make sure we update all of our panelists as they make their way back in here, and there is so much to dig through. You're happy with that price?
Yeah.
I was thinking $399. I was pretty confident in $399.
$399 would have been lovely, obviously. I think I am not surprised by the extra $50, especially with everything getting more expensive with tariffs. I'm not surprised by that at all. That's what I said when we were predicting it. They called me a madman.
I don't know if they called you a madman.
Tim was like, you're crazy, is what he told me.
Okay,
he did that like, you're crazy.
And why is he like that?
I don't know.
Why doesn't he just?
And I was like,
us?
the only reason it's crazy to me is that it's not a round, pretty looking number.
Yeah, I can give you that. I can see that.
449 is just kind of odd for a starting, just visually, aesthetically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But it just made sense to me with how. I also think they take it as a nice excuse to just go like, look, things are crazy, man.
Listen, we tried. It's also, and again, it's such an easy out of like, listen, we tried.
Yeah, tack on $50. I'm not surprised by that. I think if it were anything over 500, I would have been kind of like, oh shit, that's wild. But this makes sense to me. I super stoked by all the specifications we saw.
Yeah,
can't believe that they went that deep into it. We'll get into all that later, obviously, but still kind of shocked that we see 120 hertz on the screen. Like, the fact that they're even showing off information like that just feels so anti-Nintendo, and I'm happy that it happened anyway because I'm a nerd for that shit. This is super exciting.
Kat, I don't know if you saw that. $449.99.
$449.
Yeah, $450.
Is that the bundle?
That there's no. I'm getting this information live, and no, that is not the bundle according to what I'm seeing.
So that's not
I
the-
quickly went through trying to find if they have a bundle price in here, but it does not look like that.
So that's not the
Mario.
base version.
Bundle
This
is
is the big
$4.99.
Wow.
The
okay.
bundle is $4.99.
That's what Toby Blue says.
I mean,
Interesting.
Toby Blue, I can trust.
So
I assume.
$449. So more
$449.
expensive than people thought.
Yeah. Mike, how's that sit with you? $449.99 for the Nintendo Switch 2.
You know what? They showed off the goods. They
Yeah.
showed the upgrades that I wanted. They impressed me in certain areas. They, it's worth it. $449 sounds right to me. I'm on board.
We are, of course, going to run through this announcement by announcement, game by game, news tidbit by news tidbit. But, of course, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast where we go through and give these review scores. We do want to know on the Kind of Funny review scale, patented scale, 20-point scale, what do we think of this one? I'm going to start with you, Andy Cortez.
This is the most 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10 masterpiece.
Wow.
You cannot show off an exclusive Miyazaki-led From Software game that came out of nowhere and have it not be a 10 out of 10.
Fair,
of course,
fair.
Hollow Knight being in the supercut, in the just a little small cameo, just dropping it in. Cat Bailey calling it immediately as it popped up. This would have been an 11 out of 10, like Mike's hype level for this. This would have been 11 if we got any sort of look at a new Zelda or whatever. I guess I expected Mario Odyssey, or a Mario sequel. Having that DK thing looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Super stoked
Yeah.
to see how that looks. And again, just everything they showed off spec-wise, 4K 60 or 1080p 120 as options, absolutely wild, stunning. I'm so stoked. Dude, Metroid Prime 4 with a keyboard mouse, or not keyboard mouse, but you know what I mean, mouse control.
We're going to call it keyboard mouse. That's fine. They were fine with that.
Fuck, I'm just ecstatic right now, man. Very, very happy.
Snowbike Mike, you've never been known as the biggest Nintendo
Yeah.
fan or Switch fan. What would you give this?
I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It was
Okay,
amazing.
amazing.
This was a very, very good presentation. The Nintendo Switch 2 did kind of wow me. Not super wow, but like it impressed me with the specs that I wanted to see from this in today's age of all these next-gen consoles. They showed off the games, which is what I was really impressed with. They have a strong third-party support system right now, especially at launch, which is what I want when I jump into a new console. For this price, I want to make sure I have the games ready to rock and roll. And nothing beats a cool Donkey Kong, Hyrule Warriors I'm into. I've been really loving Dynasty Warriors, so I'm excited to jump into that. There were some things that didn't impress me, right? That the communication social hub wasn't wowing in 2025.
You don't want to get that camera? You don't want to get the camera?
So that is why I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think this interesting social hub is fun. It's cool, maybe for families and friends. But I think in 2025, this isn't wowing us like it did with the Nintendo Switch 1, where you go, oh my gosh,
Sure.
Nintendo is really doing something here. How do you improve on greatness? It's tough. It's difficult. I get it. But an amazing conference nonetheless. It was a lot of fun.
Before I get your review score, Kat, and it is on the big screen, which Bear can throw back up if you don't know our review scale, which I appreciate. It also is in this press release. Pre-orders start in North America on April 9th. So we
April
are
9th.
correct. Yeah, 1 week from
My
today.
birthday.
Really? Oh, happy
happy
birthday,
birthday to
Kat.
Kat.
Really
Bailey.
quick. No snaps. Like we had the snap sound, but nobody
Did the snap.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some of
Of
that.
course, of course. Kat Bailey, of course, you are from Axe of the Blood God podcast.
Hello.
Thank you so much. You're a big Nintendo fan. What would you rate this Nintendo Switch Direct?
9.75? Is that?
We don't do that. We do
No?
0.5.
We could do 9.5.
No, you do whatever you want. You're the guest.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, a masterpiece.
It answered a lot of questions for me.
Yeah.
And I think 120 FPS is low-key
Insane.
really awesome.
Insane. Yeah.
The screen is a lot better than I thought.
Yeah.
I went in going, I don't know if the screen is. It's just enough of an upgrade.
Yeah.
And I think it really is. And we were kind of expecting an Xbox Series S equivalent, but on Nintendo Switch. I think that's good enough, generally speaking.
Sure.
I think the game lineup was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
getting a From Software game was a huge surprise.
Insane.
Brand new, too, and
Yeah.
directed by Miyazaki. All due respect to some of the folks that work under him. I always thought he was kind of a little too busy these days to do anything but the really big ones.
Yeah. So this is a really
and
big
it's
one,
an
apparently.
exclusive. I assumed a timed exclusive, but bringing the goods right there.
That's what I mean. Yeah, giving people a reason, right, to believe in the Switch and believe in the third-party support. Yeah, for sure.
Pro
No.
controller with back buttons. Oh my god.
Insane, right? Yeah, and think about that too. It's the first, like I would say, I mean, I guess kind of it's optional, but it's the first like controller from any of the big three that is, hey, we have the back buttons as the default.
Very
This
cool.
isn't the Elite. This isn't an upgrade. This isn't something that's coming later. This is you can get it right now and go with it.
I guess they call it a pro, but you know.
I don't know.
But still, I'm with you.
yeah,
I
you
get
know
it.
what I mean.
More expensive than expected.
Yeah, at
And
$449.
a little bit light on the storage capacity. Like, I think the Steam Deck that I bought was literally double than that, for example.
Sure.
So I did spend a lot more money on it. But on the flip, and no Smash in this one.
Yeah.
Which I guess was kind of expected. Smash didn't come around until the year after, and Sakurai is seemingly busy. And you know what? I'm going to give you Sakurai, of anybody, deserves a lot of grace. So please go follow your bliss. Go make Kirby Air Riders.
Whatever they'll let
We're
you
good.
do.
But put a Switch 2 version of Smash Ultimate out there is kind of all I ask, really.
And that's got to be coming.
And Melee
Got
on
to be coming.
GameCube. GameCube NSO is a big deal for me personally.
big,
I
yeah.
do have questions for that, but we can get to that later.
Okay.
And the mouse is really cool.
Yeah.
The mouse and key pad or mouse and switch, whatever. For Prime 4, really cool.
One of the things I want to argue myself, I said first controller that would have it, right, but not an Elite or something like that. Of course, as we predicted, you can use your Nintendo Switch Pro controller, your Joy-Cons, etc., from your Switch 1 with your Switch 2. So I guess technically then this would be an upgraded version of the Switch 2. I've printed off for everybody the official press release here from Nintendo, which is a bible of information on all the games as we continue to dig through it, run through it. For my money, I would say that this is a 9.5 out of 10.
Hey, you can't do that.
I can. I just did it.
We do 0.5.
We do 0.5s. Yeah, not points. Yeah, that's where I was getting you.
Can I change my
Yeah, of course you can.
9.5 as well?
Yeah, nobody's locked in.
I
Don't
think
I want to be
Yeah.
9.5 too then.
He's crazy. He's feeling crazy. It's 7 a.m. I
What a
can't believe it.
direct. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think, again, like, this is always so difficult to get all this information out there about it. I think, especially for Nintendo, who is classically bad at really delivering this. When they went into the breakdown of this, here's what the Switch 2 is, and it was that polished package of this, that, this, blah, blah, blah. And then the game lineup, yeah, I thought was really impressive. Even when we got to, okay, it's going to be Mario. Oh, it's Donkey Kong. I was immediately like, I'm not a big Donkey Kong guy. Watching that trailer, I'm like, I got to play this. This looks awesome.
Yeah.
Him tearing apart the world, tearing apart all the stuff, then just the action in there. Like, that looked incredible. And if that's going to deliver on what it looks to me like a Mario, right? And if it's going to be that kind of experience, but obviously so different because it's Donkey Kong, I'm all about that. Let alone everything we saw before, let alone, Nintendo Switch 2 enhanced editions, which we will talk about of how we feel about what they're going to price that at. Maybe that's in here as well. I haven't had the chance to dig through this in the entire way. A really, really amazing showcase, I think, from Nintendo to set the bar for what they're doing here. And even though I wanted $399 for this, I'm not mad at $450. You know what I mean? I think, again, it speaks to, of course, tariffs and everything else and what's going to happen here. But I can do $450 no problem for what they're talking about, what they're selling here.
So a lot of people weren't expecting. A lot of people thought, well, okay, Nintendo is doing a lot of their manufacturing in Vietnam, so they might be able to
They
get
dodge
around
it
the
that way.
tariffs and stuff like that. But $450, I guess, is kind of expected. Everything has just been getting more expensive in general. So,
Yeah, sadly.
but if you compare it to a lot of the dedicated handhelds out there, PC handhelds, it's not that bad ultimately.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Mike, are you happy with $450?
Yeah, I'm happy with $450. I think that falls right in line in the console market, right? I don't think you can be too mad at that. I know we want it on the cheaper side of things coming off of the Switch 1 compared to, Sony and Xbox, but where I'm at right now when I look at the Series X, as you brought up, and the Series S, I'm happy with where this is kind of putting itself. And yeah, it's the next generation of Nintendo. I think things are all going up in the world. So $50 increase is not killing me and not hurting my heart there on that one.
All right, everybody, then it's time to start wading through all of this information. Of course, chat, I see you out there popping off. I like that. I did want your reviews, as I asked at the top immediately. Boycott Activision says $450 for mouse and old tech. Too expensive. 2 mad emojis right there. So that you get that all set there in terms of what they think about it. George Huffman says physical games will cost more than digital, ... We'll see if that's confirmed. Joey D says, I doubt the mouse mode will be smooth and comfy, though, Andy.
Okay.
Andy,
for
this is
the
an
super
interesting one. Cat too. TR Pick says, unlike Bloodborne, do y'all think FromSoft is keeping the rights to the new games?
Yes.
I
I
agree,
think
too.
they want to.
I think they've learned a lesson or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into it and start going blow by blow then, as we have said, as we get into this. We began with, of course, Mario Kart World. I think, again, Andy, you nailed it at the end there. How did none of us guess this name?
Yeah. I think, we went with cross country. We went with, I think Blessing said cross worlds, and we're like, wait, no, that's the Sonic game or whatever the hell. Mario Kart World just makes so much sense. I don't know why. It just was the most obvious option, and none of us even thought of it. But it looks great. I think that was my hope when we were kind of first shown it. Was I kept on bringing up the Forza thing. If they can do anything similar to Forza, even just this free roam mode, hanging out with your friends and driving, going off of ramps and just doing photo mode, it looks so much fun. And having this large interconnected map, with a bunch of different tracks, sort of being all over the place. I love seeing that world map later on in the little trailer that we saw. This looks fun as hell. I can't freaking wait. I'm really excited about it.
Let me give you the official description here from the press release, all right? Put the pedal to the metal in Mario Kart World. Brand new experience set in a vast interconnected environment. Race seamlessly across connected courses that deliver Mario Kart racing like never before. 24 drivers can compete in a race. Participate in the new Knockout Tour mode, where you'll barrel through back-to-back courses and checkpoints with no pit stops along the way. If a player doesn't make it to each checkpoint at a high enough placement, they will be eliminated. And in free roam, it's possible to go off the racetrack and drive in any direction you wish, explore areas that pique your interest, and take some photos at scenic spots with a group of friends. Mario Kart World races on a Nintendo Switch 2 on June 5th. More details will be revealed in the Mario Kart World Direct presentation, April 17th at 6 a.m. Pacific. I love Mario Kart, period. What makes me excited about this one is the idea that, hey, when you're going to free roam, I bet that's where we unlock a bunch of cool stuff. I'm going to go out there and find, we saw, you called it out, Andy, in this, we saw us, wearing different outfits as the traditional characters. I bet that's the kind of stuff you got to go out and actually noodle and find in the open world.
I think it's going to be great for families as well, especially when I think of you and Ben, right?
Yeah.
Of like, hey, let's put down the race and we don't have to stress about time
Yeah,
or
he
laps.
does. That's why he
Let's
loves Forza.
just go explore. And I think, we talk about Forza. I think that is a big win here, especially Nintendo. We think of these family-friendly games. We think of these moments that you get to share when you put away the competitive side of things and you can just have fun and enjoy the scenery. I think that is a massive win right there.
Yeah, and I think it really opens the door for more of a single player experience.
Yeah.
Traditionally, Mario
Yeah.
Kart has been race the tracks, have fun with your friends, and that's fine and everything. But having an actual campaign, if they decide to have that in there with hidden items and collectibles, I think that's the upgrade that we really need from a series that last saw a major release more than a decade ago at this point, which is wild.
Crazy.
It's older than Kind of Funny.
Oh, we don't bring that up. Of course, there's one psycho we all know and love about Mario Kart. His name's Barrett Courtney, of course, the boss baby, the CEO Junior. How you feeling, Barrett?
Feeling great about Mario Kart World. I actually want to take us somewhere else, though, really quick. Wario 64 post. Nintendo Switch 2 on My Nintendo Store. Invites will go out to people who register their interest. Register here. First come, first served basis. To registrants who have purchased a Nintendo Switch Online membership with a minimum of 12 months NSO and 50 hours of gameplay as of April 2nd. So in terms of, I assume, pre-ordering through Nintendo themselves, I think this is how they're going to try to fight scalpers, at least on their end.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think
there
it's
you
one.
go.
I think it's one of those you can roll your eyes at and laugh at, which is true. But it is like the big problem has been people saying, "What about scalpers? Scalpers are going to do this." X,
So
Y, and
Valve
Z.
did the same thing.
So
with
I just
Steam.
wanted to throw that out there for people watching, but not the scalpers.
I'm opening up my authenticator. I gotta get in. I gotta get on the list.
But
Barrett, what did
also-
you think of? I want your score for the direct, and I want to know what you think of World.
The score, I would say a 9. I think it was amazing. I think there's definitely some questionable things there. Purely just Wind Waker coming through
hurt.
GameCube, Nintendo
hurt you,
Switch. Again, I feel like those Wii U ports never actually existed, the HD versions of those games, and we just got fed bad info when I was at IGN fucking 7 years ago at this point. That hurt, but I had a fucking fantastic time hanging out with y'all, watching this. Getting a Donkey Kong 3D platformer game in the year 2025. Again, like I said in the reacts, like Blessing and I are thriving. We've been waiting for something like this since Donkey Kong 64, so that's awesome. Like, I'm glad to take a break from Mario for a bit to, give Donkey Kong some love.
Sure.
Do you think we can all collectively thank Seth Rogen, and this is not even me joking, like just the movie in general for making Donkey Kong, like, I feel like that has a major tie-in. The fact that not only DK World,
that would have been a
theme
plan
park
for a
and
while,
this.
though. That would, I think in general, he's part of Nintendo's vision to revitalize.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong.
Yes.
of course. That's what I'm
Movie,
saying.
yeah.
I don't think it's the
Not
the
Seth Rogen, but you know
reaction
what I mean.
to the movie, because we've been hearing rumors about a Donkey Kong platformer for like 5 years at this point. So
Movie had to have
or
been in
not
development
5
since
years,
then
but-
too.
If
yeah,
anything,
like 4 years or something like that.
the movie is a piece of a plan to try and make Donkey Kong a more vital character again
Yes.
in
Exactly.
2025,
Yeah.
because he kind of got lost a little bit in the mix with Mario. Mario definitely overshadowed him.
Yeah.
But Donkey Kong's still a really important character.
Yeah, and it like definitely like once they stopped working with Rare, taking the 64 out of it, like with Country and all that stuff, like it definitely felt like they were struggling to like really push DK, and so I'm happy with that plan. Exclusive FromSoft game on the Switch too, awesome, all that stuff. But to bring it back to Mario Kart, I'm very excited. I'm glad to eat crow on the whole like thinking the openness of the game was being overblown, but that's a cool way to kind of change things up. Like after Mario Kart 8 feeling kind of like the pinnacle of what we've had so far, them doing something different with it, I think is rad, and I'm excited to get new courses. Honestly, that's just what I need. I loved 8, but we've had it for 12 years at this point. So I'm ready for something new and different.
Dynamic weather,
Dynamic weather is gonna be so
grinding,
cool.
wall riding looked great.
Also, I'm just really quick on the hardware. Excited for all of that. I will never use that fucking chat option probably ever. But everything else, like 120 hertz and handheld 4K 60 in docked mode, all of that sounds really cool, really exciting. Oh god, yeah! Look at all these cups. Look at all those different tracks.
And look at all
I'm
these
excited.
racers, of course. Come on now. Of course,
no dry bones.
Didn't see dry bones, so it's kind of offensive that I can be a cow.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I go,
I can be a penguin, but I can't be dry bones.
The cow from Moo Moo Meadows.
I know.
Fuck yeah, dog.
I respect the cow,
Fuck
but
yeah,
I'm just
dog.
saying.
You get like looking at the totem pole hierarchy that Dry Bones is maybe below
Cow
the
got
cow.
pushed up.
That's crazy.
Cow's on a historic run.
Not about that life. Not about that life whatsoever. And these costumes are a cool addition too. As somebody who likes to, switch it up as much as possible, make it look cool out there.
I like seeing the boats. Was that in the last one? Going
boats?
to like boat mode
No.
when you jump in the water. I
If
like
anything,
that a lot.
they're going Diddy Kong racing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I
but they had
really enjoyed
airplanes
seeing
as
that.
well.
Yeah. I'm pumped on just it feels fresh, like Barrett and you have said. It's like that's an old game that we've all loved, and I can't wait for something new. So this
Them
is
going
great.
boat mode makes me think like Nintendo. It's time. Bring wave race back. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
go. Yes.
Hydro Thunder, bring it back.
I would
1080 snowboarding.
We do have a hot take for you here. Hot breaking news. According to Jeff Keighley, digital games on the Nintendo Switch 2 are now $80.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's pricey.
He is saying
They
Mario,
just
Kart,
skipped the fucking 70. Huh?
Mario Kart World will retail for $80 for the digital edition. Then he follows up with a separate tweet recapping everything and dropping at the end of there. Digital games are now $80.
That's big news, honestly.
That's a high
Well,
Yeah.
tariffs, the
moving
import
bar.
costs for the digital codes.
Does that shift? Yeah, the whole game industry. Will we start seeing that
This
on
is-
the next wave? Yeah,
This is everybody's going to start doing this.
yeah, of
soon.
course.
And GTA 6 is going to be $100. Like mark
Yeah.
it down. So if anything, it's Nintendo. It's surprising to see Nintendo setting the bar early, because traditionally they've been the more affordable alternative console,
yeah.
the one that you would get in addition to a PS5. But this is where the games industry is trending at this point.
Yeah, this is an interesting wrinkle. And I know Jeff saying that apparently he has it for Mario Kart. I'm interested to see if where he's getting that. Where I mean, not that I don't believe him, but is it just Mario Kart World? Is it just Nintendo stuff? Is it everybody moving where it's going?
Well, it makes the bundle a lot more appealing, because you can
100%.
get Mario
You
Kart
get-
World
Yeah,
for like
$50 for Mario. You're
Yeah.
gonna buy that no matter what. So there you go.
I think just going back to when Tears of the Kingdom releases and us going, oh, that's the first $70 Nintendo game ever. That's got to be the new standard. And Nintendo said, nope, let's push it $10 extra. That's kind of shocking. That's that sucks. Honestly, I don't love that.
But they also know that they can do it.
Of course,
And
course
they
they
will
can.
sell a lot
Yeah.
of copies.
yeah.
People complain. There will be a lot of complaints online, but they will sell.
I will still buy that. Yep.
According to Ethan Gosh, of course, from Kotaku, he's citing a Reset Era thread here. Mario Kart World is listed at €80 on the Spanish My Nintendo store. Oh, interesting. So this is off of a screenshot that I guess is from Reset Era, but I'm seeing from Ethan. Mario Kart World is listed for $79.99 digital, and then physical $89.99. Then Donkey Kong Bonanza is listed as digital $69.99, physical $79.99.
Well, the red cartridges they
And again,
cost
this
money
is
to paint. those.
Spanish My Nintendo store, so we're
Okay.
getting this is all leaking out and breaking off, and all this stuff's
Yeah.
happening as we go. So we're,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's not the opposite, just because they know they're going to sell a fuck ton of, or like maybe that's the reason. Like they're just upping it just by $10 because they know they're going to make sell a fuck ton of copies of Mario Kart. But you'd think because of that they would try to downplay it a little. I don't know. That's a
I think they're funneling people to the bundle. I think that's
Yeah.
what they want
Yeah.
people to do.
Yeah, smart. I registered for the bundle.
me too. Yeah, I think that was the only one I saw on the thing.
You already
Yeah, whatever.
registered?
No, there
Yeah,
was
I mean,
two.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's two. There's two options, but
It's that thing where it's like
Which one? I wanted
Ben's
the
gonna
one
need
people want
Jen's
less.
gonna want one. Yeah, exactly.
See,
I don't care.
I want the one where Nintendo goes, he wants to pay more. He
Give it
gets
to him.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
put
gets
him at the front of the
option.
line. Put him at the
Yeah.
front of the line. Right
I'm willing.
We'll throw in an extra Joy-Con cell for $900.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, over on the Mario Kart World page on the Nintendo thing where they have a bunch of information, they have $79.99 as the suggested retail price. Period. So that's not
Wild.
saying anything about digital there. So we will continue to monitor this
Yeesh.
as this happens. But that aside, the game looked great.
Oh,
Excited
yeah.
for this direct on the 17th.
24 players.
Yeah.
That looks cool. I'm excited to see the evolution of the online. I never loved it. It was never as perfect as I wanted it to be when I team up with all my friends, but I'm excited. I think it feels like a new era of Nintendo. I think they're really going to elevate this one. It's going to be cool.
I'm glad you mentioned the online because that's one area that Nintendo needs to upgrade across
Yes,
the board.
Of course.
As much as I love Smash Brothers, the online was embarrassing in that game and remains embarrassing. And that game needs rollback netcode
Yeah.
in the worst way. And frankly, when I'm looking at Mario Kart, it was good. It was
Yes.
okay, but they really need to expand the features.
The lobby system.
yeah, the lobby system's really bad.
Yeah, I want
Really
everything
simple.
elevated on this, Caddis,
Yeah.
right? And great call out. Smash gets a flower for me because they have a cool, like, they have a nice little lobby where you can spectate games. But I agree, when you actually start playing it, no, it needs a lot of help.
Moving on then, this is where we revealed finally what that dang C button is all about. We looked at the Joy-Con 2 and then moved up to the C button, and guess what it does? It's called Game Chat. It is a microphone through the handheld device. So if you're playing it handheld, awesome. If it's on the other side of the room, they say it's great, and they say you can run a blender in the back and it won't be heard. You'll be fine.
Fucking Andrew back there. making
Why are you making a smoothie? It's, you know what I mean? It's Cinco de Mayo. I'm trying to play Mario Kart. Knock it off.
Flashback to the Connect days. This is going to be a wild one to hear that in person. Man, I hope it sounds good. I hope it sounds good.
What's funny to me is like, you know, I think one of the big questions leading into all of this is what's going to be the new gimmick that Nintendo
Yep.
has to show. And to me, it's not this voice chat. It's like 120 hertz. Like to me, that's like a gimmick for them because of how odd that is. When I see this voice chat thing, it's something like silly and weird enough to not be surprising in a way. I was surprised though by all of their sort of Discord wanting everybody to see everybody's feeds. I was really kind of surprised by that because again, it feels like they maybe assume another pandemic's going to happen or something. I don't know, man. It just feels like really out of place and out of time.
Yeah, I think it's them trying to catch up and knowing people do that and them wanting that from them to some degree. I think what's the most interesting for me, we didn't even get to it, right? They debut this camera as well, right? That you can plug into the top of it and use it. That I don't want. I don't need it for these Discord calls they're doing, but I did kind of like when it was being integrated into the games. For
Mario Party.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing we're like, okay, that's cute.
Is it only compatible with Nintendo's camera?
I assume.
of course.
Well, it's USB-C.
No, it's not. No, I'm looking right here.
USB-C.
Let me read. Yeah, well, I know, but you never know
Yeah,
with Nintendo, right? No, it says, but if they connect a compatible USB-C camera,
Okay.
such as the Nintendo Switch 2 camera sold separately, they can also video chat, seeing their faces as they cheer, shout, or laugh while playing. Additional friends can join via
That
audio.
might actually be nice for streaming because if I'm playing Mario Kart or something, we're all our faces are all over the little carts. That could be
Oh, yeah.
fun, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I like
yeah.
that. A fun family feature as well. Right? You think grandma's calling in to see the family.
Grandma's
It's
playing
cute.
on Nintendo Switch too.
You know that families all around the globe will get Switches to see their
As
grandchildren.
soon as they put that
if they
goddamn
can.
Animal Crossing out there.
For
yeah.
sure.
It makes me think of when the Switch was first announced and they were showing stuff like you can play with your friends on a little kickstand on a rooftop. And
Yeah,
you're,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
I'll never use that. I did use
Yeah, I
that,
did
my
too.
friends.
I did use that.
I
I
used
did
that many
use that. Yeah,
times.
yeah.
And I mean, I'll probably be on Discord playing Switch with friends if I am. But I don't know. It could be something that I could end up using. Just having it integrated is kind of nice.
I only think of it as a way for us to make content with, and
Yeah.
really not any other. I don't see any sort of personal way that I would be using this because, again, Mike, just forever alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, forever alone. We're attached to the PCs. I get it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, you meet so many people
Still cool, though.
outside of the games industry that have game nights with their friends where they play Mario Party,
Yeah.
they play Mario Kart. And like this is going to be a way for them to connect, see each other. As much as we might think, oh, that's odd, I think a lot of people out there, they'll have a wine night with their girlfriends. They'll have fun. I dated a girl that did this, so I know for sure she will take advantage of that. I know friends and family members would love to see each other. So as odd as it sounds to us who are like hyper fixated on this video games world, like I think the outside world will go, oh, that's fun. Like we could do this together.
It also could easily become just such a normal ass thing that we kind of take for granted right now, in the way that we're like, why would I want a camera on my phone back in the day? You know, it just becomes such a normal part. I would love for it to become like that because I think it's such a neat and odd idea, but I'm more excited about the gameplay implementations as opposed to like the actual voice chatting. I love the Mario Party stuff, and I hope that Nintendo can continue to get kind of weird and wacky with how they can have that camera be on your Mii's head or whatever the hell, you know?
Great.
This is I'm sticking in here right now while we talk about the chat and everything else. This is we'll get to the breakdown of the hardware and all that stuff. This is where you introduced, oh, interesting. The dock has no ports on it. The unit itself has 2 USB-C ports, but the dock itself doesn't. So to charge your camera or charge your controller or plug in this camera, you're going to the top slot on the system, which I didn't like. I'm not Tim, obviously. I showed up to work today.
He's a winner.
But it's that I am a winner too, or a Timus. It doesn't matter. It's that idea of like I don't need everything to be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but I thought it looked ugly as hell. The camera and then the USB-C coming out to it. I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
I'm sure they wanted to have it so when you have your Switch out of the dock that you can plug in the camera and
Yeah.
everything. But it is surprising that they don't have more
Put a port.
ports.
Just put a port on that.
in the-
Yeah.
Yeah, because guess what? Shocking, no one owned. Hello, everyone. Rating from Bruce Green right now on Twitch. Thank you so much, Bruce, for sending it over here. I think, the next shocking no one, I'm sure, is that the next, whatever, the OLED Switch 2 they put out is going to have ports on this goddamn dock. It'll be $550, but it'll be there. I'll have the ports.
Yeah, the C button and the chat menu is not the gimmick or the elevation that I wanted to see, but it is the thing that they needed the most, right? We talked about the social features on Nintendo Switch. Sharing a 20-digit long insane code was
Yeah.
never fun, right? Having just a small profile photo and not much else was never fun.
Using
in
the
today's
phone
age.
app for voice chat.
So,
like, you
this
know?
is something
Yeah,
that's like
low key having a mic on the actual Switch is
Yeah.
really a godsend. It
They
really
needed
is.
to elevate this, and I'm sorry I keep saying that, but they needed to improve upon their chat and social functions, and it looks like they did, right? I brought up the C meaning the cursor function. It's like, that would be lame if it was just the C button. It's just turn it into mouse mode, right? So I'm glad that we looked at our social features and said, how do we improve upon this in 2025?
Moving on in order of operations, up next was Game Share. Something we talked about, Kat, that of course we remember this from the DS back in the day. The idea here being that compatible Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 games are going to be able to share with other. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not right. You can share games with other people from the Nintendo Switch 2. However, you could share to a Switch 1 as well. Compatible games, there'll be free updates for these in the future. But the idea being that I have a multiplayer game on my Switch 2, I can beam it to all y'all's Switches that don't own the game, and we can play together that way. Very cool.
Little Joseph Fares right there, right? Like seeing how much success It Takes Two had with, again, a game that you could play with your friend and your friend didn't have to buy it, and that still sold 20 plus million copies. This is amazing and so shocking that it exists when you're looking at what their game prices are now going to be. I guess I'm just more surprised by like the pro-consumer thing there, when it's really hard to look at any of these companies as pro-consumer nowadays, you know?
It takes
Sure.
a little bit of the sting out of the price point. For
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
a little bit,
A little
but
bit.
not a whole.
I mean,
Yeah.
birthday parties, conventions. We've all been to fun social gatherings where there's a bunch of people with Nintendo Switches, and nothing is worse going, you got Mario Kart, you got Mario Kart. I don't have Mario Kart. Like, the idea to be able to beam that and do that, I think is a big win, right? That's going to be a lot of fun. Very cool. I'm used to buying way too many copies of games for my friends, so the idea if we're all together and I can just say, here we go, we got it, that makes me smile.
So out of everyone, all of the major console holders, Nintendo is still the play with your friends in the living room platform holder,
Yeah.
the social gaming platform. And I like that. I miss living room gaming.
Yeah.
We
And
don't get enough of
so,
it. Yep.
so that's a great feature. That's a great ad. I think.
How will this work? Is it a I share with you and then an install and we're kind of waiting?
Well, it might
Is this
be
going to be a cloud stream type thing? How does this really work in reality? Because I'm excited to see that because I would hate to share and then we
It's
have to
gotta-
go,
it's-
ooh, the Wi-Fi connection.
It's got to be just instant, right? Like it says at the top using game share, right? So you're hoping you have to
And
stream
you
it.
see a
And look,
li-
yeah, they
you
got
see a little bar.
They got a connection bar up there too. So yeah,
I
it's
think you
got to be
download
that.
data and then you can actually start playing it.
Yeah.
I think so. They introduced the virtual game cards last week, and that also has a lending system that they put out where you can
Yeah.
lend
Yeah,
a game
exactly.
for 14 days. So
And that's a download. That'll
similar
be a full
technology, I
download.
have to imagine.
Yeah, you'd hope. Yeah.
Have you ever played It Takes Two or Split Fiction as the added person?
No.
I did when me and Nick played It Takes Two back in the day, and it's not the best experience, but it's still cool that it
Yeah.
exists, at all, right? Like there is a tiny bit of latency ish, and it doesn't look super clean. I don't know if that's the same tech they're using, or if you are actually downloading some sort of license to have it there in a more meaningful physical way, as opposed to just a cloud streaming type deal. But it's still really neat that this exists at all.
But for real, where's Miiverse? Where's Street Pass?
Street Pass, get it back. What are we
Come
talking
on.
about?
Well,
there?
I just got a press release here. The Welcome Tour game that is an add-on. That's a $90 purchase. No, I'm kidding.
I
But it's not
believed you for
free.
a second.
But it's not
you gotta
free.
buy it. You gotta buy
We'll
it.
talk about that in a minute.
fucking crazy.
Let's all take a guess on how much that's going to be when
Holy
we get to it.
shit.
I mean,
Wow,
again,
wow.
it seems like somebody in the chat's popping off saying though $80 is confirmed for all digital games, which I don't know if that. Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody else said too. We got a super chat from Kieran Rice, Kieran Rice. Barrett, show them the back of the dock again. There are 2 USB ports are shown. My apologies if I missed that. We're obviously fast and loose with this.
I got to
think
assume it's
they
where the
look like-
power cable goes into on the
Hold
left
on.
side.
Yeah,
the
when
bottom
they
left.
did the full back, like they did a turn of the back, and it was the normal HDMI power cord thing, Ethernet. And that's when I was like, oh, there's nothing on the sides either. So I believed from what I saw on that thing, there wasn't ports on the dock itself.
So yeah, we've got our normal AC adapter HDMI LAN, which is kind of the normal setup for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, over here we've got.
We can't see it.
Oh shit.
It's all
Oh yeah, 2.
We
Okay,
do-
so there's
we have
2
two
USB
normal
A's. There's 2
USB,
USB A's.
yeah.
Okay, I take it back then. I apologize, everybody.
And a
That's why
fan.
that makes sense for the camera being plugged in the top because it's USB-C only. Wait, I'm still mad again. Now I'm back to being mad. USB-C is the future. What the fuck are we doing here?
That's USB-C and USB AN. It's their own Nintendo proprietary.
Oh, God.
The bio
Then
cables.
a chat that I don't have full. This is all breaking fast. Phylaw95 goes. Europe is fucked with Nintendo prices. 90 euros for games is disgusting. Nothing to do with tariffs.
So
yeah,
But just so you all
Canada
know, if
prices
we
are
go down,
crazy.
we're taking you with us. That's the American
It's the
motto.
spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were rating the Nintendo Switch presentation earlier and saying, "Wow, look at all these games and everything." The price just became the dominant
Sure,
news.
yeah. That's why they don't
gonna
put it in
be-
there.
That's
That's why
all
they didn't
people
put
are
it in
going to
there.
be talking about
Yeah.
for the next couple days. And in that, I think that's a little rough for Nintendo.
Here's the thing. It is. WarioWare Bonanza is $79.99. Is this? But there was a difference on the.
Is that the Switch One
other
version?
store?
Is it getting a Switch 1 version?
Only
Yeah,
on Switch 2. Wow.
But remember when I looked at the Spanish store, I forget which country that was. I apologize. There was a difference there where it was physical and digital had different prices. So again,
DK is 70, Mario Kart World is 80. I think there's a lot of confusion
yeah,
happening right now,
Understandably
which
so.
is not something you necessarily want when people are deciding whether or not to make a purchase with your console.
yeah. But here's the thing: is I think so many people are just going to be down to do it. I think also we're 44 minutes removed from wrap time, whereas like in another hour, this should be answered and settled, and it's not Jeff Grubbs tweeting and Jeff Keighley's doing this and we're trying to figure that out and I'm getting a super chat from somebody. Like, I feel like the price is an issue, obviously, but I also think people were stealing themselves for it. And it's also that, all right, cool, games are $80. Are you not going to buy it? Is that really what's going to break you from this? I doubt it for a lot of people, and I bet Nintendo does too, and I bet Nintendo looks at the people we don't get are going to be made up for by the money we're making off of the $20 extra from where we were before. We'll see. While we talk about dollars and cents, everybody, I saw Joey in the chat say, with these prices, I'm going to stop super chatting. Well, that's fine, but I hope, of course, as you save up for your Nintendo Switch, you think about picking up a Kinda Funny membership. Of course, $10 supports a small business, an 11-person small business, all about live talk shows. Remember, each and every weekday, we come to you with Kinda Funny Games Daily with the biggest news of the day. We do a Gamescast with the biggest topic in gaming, and then, of course, we do streams for your amusement. And there's a bunch of different shows in review, screencasts, whatever Nick does around here. You understand. If you like that, pick up a Kinda Funny membership. $10 would get you all of our shows. That's more than $80 a month, ad-free. And, of course, you'd get the ability to watch a daily video vlog / podcast from me called Greg Way. But right now, you're not using the benefits you can get on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, patreon.com/kindafunny, or Apple and Spotify. So here's a word from our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by Lost Skies. What would you do if you woke up and the world around you was now floating high in the clouds? Lost Skies is the new open-world survival-like that puts the power of exploration and choice in your hands. Use the physics-based grappling hook, glider, and your own custom airship to traverse the remains of this fractured world and uncover its mysteries. You and up to 5 friends will harness the power of ancient technology to survive the hostile islands that scatter the horizon and the threats that lurk in the sky itself. The battles are intense, so it's up to you to build a skyship to shelter you in fierce storms and take the battle to gigantic monsters. Want to take a break from fighting in the skies? Use the intuitive island creator and share your builds with the community. Head over to Steam and wishlist Lost Skies today and discover what's lurking beyond the horizon. This episode's brought to you by Monaco 2. Gather your crew, plan your heist, and let the chaos unfold in Monaco 2. Return to Monaco, a city teeming with excellent scores and gullible marks ripe for getting parted from their prized possessions. Go it alone or tackle heists as a team of 4 with online and local co-op. Just remember, even the best laid plans can blow up in your face, so you'll have to stay on your toes. Monaco 2 is the sequel to the cult classic Monaco. What's yours is mine that expands on every aspect of the game. New characters bring unique abilities and playstyles to help you escape the heat. And with new modes and procedurally generated levels, every run is full of surprises. The heist is on when Monaco 2 arrives on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation on April 10th. Y'all know how important it is to wishlist these games. It helps the developers so much, so please wishlist Lost Skies and Monaco 2. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. You sign up for something, forget about it after the trial period ends, and then you're charged month after month after month. The subscriptions are there, but you're not using them. In fact, 85% of people have at least one paid subscription going unused each month. Thanks to Rocket Money, you can see all of your subscriptions in one place and cancel the ones you're not using anymore, and save more money. Rocket Money has helped multiple members of Kinda Funny learn that they're still paying for things they totally didn't even realize. You know who I'm talking about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny today. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny.
And we're back in this supersized Gamescast where I have to keep texting Gary Whitta. Actually come in 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Actually come in 30 minutes later.
I knew that was going to happen.
He must. I hope he knows it too, because if he doesn't, then he just doesn't
Time
know
to come on
anything.
by.
I did. I actually did.
Tell him bring Starbucks. Bring the Starbucks coffee.
Okay.
No, but don't actually tell him that. No, not at all. Just come. Yeah, just come. Nick,
of course,
bring
everybody, thank
Starbucks.
you for watching. So many of you are. It's amazing. We're enjoying all your super chats to be part of the show. Thank you for breaking news to us when we get this. This has all been great. Matt Sanders writes in and says, it'll suck when these games are still $80 5 years from now. Of course, talking about how Nintendo never does that. Barrett Courtney, bring me my water because I forgot it when I was running around yelling stuff at Joey, moving things around out there.
Black Friday sale will be $76.94.
Yeah, exactly. Got that one. While we were doing that, of course, going through, I have more breaking news for you. Barrett sent me this one from Wario64. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 upgrades are free for Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack members. Tim and Bless called that, as they say. So that's an interesting upgrade because there were other ones we will have to pay for. So as we jump around and figure that out again, Kat, back to your thing of like, we rated the presentation and now on the other side of it, it's like all confusion.
I had to me, it was the Game Pass sort of argument where on that game, when we were talking about the games or on Gamescast, I was saying I could totally see them doing, if you are a member, you get that shit for free, but if not, pay an amount of money that we won't let you know yet.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
we got to assume 10 to 20 now. Like the fact that they didn't show us 10 makes me think that it's not going to be 10. It's going to be probably $20 to get the visual upgrade.
You think so too? Yeah, I would assume as well, right?
I would err on the side of 20.
Yeah.
20 to 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's jump back into where we left off going through this presentation moment by second by second. We got the Switch 2 itself. This was the breakdown where they jumped in and started rattling off stuff that made Andy Cortez go, wow, wowee hot dog. We got a 7.9-inch screen, 1080 screen, it's up to 120 frames per second, LCD HDR. Joy-Cons, of course, are magnetic. We got bigger SL and SR buttons, larger control sticks, mouse controls, 3D audio, a newsstand, 2 USB-C ports on the system itself, top and bottom, 256 gigabytes internal, a new dock, 4K support, 60 frames per second max in 4K, and of course plays compatible Switch games. Andy, you are my tech powerhouse. This did it for you?
Absolutely. This is so surprising and shocking to me. I think if anything, people are going to see what it's like to experience higher frame rates because not everybody has the LG OLED that gives you, the higher refresh rate and plugging in PS4s that give you 120 frames on older games or PS5s that give you higher frame rates. It was pretty shocking to me. I know that it was rumored, but I just in no way like we mentioned earlier, Greg, where I was like, if you told me that there was going to be a Miyazaki-led From Software game, I would have said you're fucking crazy. The fact that we saw 120 frames per second on a screen today for a Nintendo conference is absolutely mind-blowing because most people don't give a shit about things like that. At least, people want 60 minimum. I'm really shocked by that sort of tech even being an option. And that's also why, the hardware is above $400. It costs extra money to get displays that work that well, 1080p. And yes, the fact that we saw a lot of like 4K 60 minimum and then 1080 120 is just so exciting to me. I can't believe we're here with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Look at those bezels, though. They're pretty big.
I hate bezels.
Yeah.
Big ass bezels, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Again,
OLED bezels are so much smaller.
That's
so
why
nice.
when I get the upgrade here in 2 years when they want to sell it to me again, it'll be all about
At
it.
550.
I think 120 FPS is a huge deal. I was really mourning the loss of the OLED screen because it looks so good on the original Switch, but
Especially because Nintendo games are so bright and colorful, and they really utilize like that full gamut of color options. But I still think it's gonna be a very nice looking display because LCD technology has just come a long way in the last
it has
10 years.
Bigger screen, HDR, 120 FPS, high refresh rate. That's great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mike, you got anything to complain about?
Complaint. Yeah, you brought up, I'd like to know a little bit more about the internet plug-in in the back. You brought it up saying that there was one, and then the chat said there wasn't one.
No, they were talking about USB-Cs.
Okay.
There's Ethernet in there, right? Nobody argued.
Yeah,
that.
there's an Ethernet.
There's one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's just one that I didn't like on my original Switch dock. we had to buy the dongle for it.
Right.
I just didn't love downloading off of the Wi-Fi. I liked the faster speeds that we have. So I am happy that if there is a plugin, which it sounds like there is, then I'm very excited.
I
about it.
forgot that the plugin was updated for, I think, the OLED edition of the Switch.
Correct.
Yeah, the newer dock had that Ethernet, yeah.
For real, this is a big improvement on the existing technology, and I think one of the biggest ones is they may have finally solved the Joy-Con drift issue after these many years.
Whoa.
Because of the magnet. That's like one of the speculation as to why they have the magnetic attachments with the actual Joy-Cons, is that to help address some of the drift.
They better figure that. They better have that figured out. From there, unless anybody has something else to say about the hardware itself.
No, just, again, kind of just blown away that
Please put
any
alarm
of it
away.
exists.
Please put alarm away.
Big buttons also on the,
Yeah.
they talked about the larger Joy-Con, joysticks. I rarely play with the actual Joy-Cons, unless maybe I'm on a flight. But even then, when I was playing with my Switch on flights a lot, I was still kickstanding it with a Pro Controller because I just prefer that experience even more.
Yeah.
But the larger buttons is always nice because they're a little bit tiny. I'm not a Tim guy who needs the perfect size buttons.
Yeah.
But it's still it's still really exciting that this hardware is even an option.
Last thing, do you think with all these hardware upgrades that the biggest software performance boost in the Nintendo eShop will perform any better? Do you think that'll be better?
Oh.
No.
And by and large, it sounds like the UI is going to be relatively the same, but it's so full of crap, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Two themes.
I think one of the big questions a lot of people were having was DLSS. They didn't talk about it during the actual stream. There was a lot of talk in the press release about a vastly improved CPU and GPU, and pre-release rumors had that NVIDIA was making a graphics card, and you would assume DLSS, like AI upscaling and things like that, would be part of the package.
Sure.
And that would be a significant step toward making the Switch 2 competitive in a modern context for maybe years to come, but they didn't really talk about it much. So there's some questions around it.
I think it's too big of an audience for it, right?
I think that's going too nerdy with it. And I'm with you. I still think it is an option. The fact that we saw 4K 60 as a thing at all shows me that because they are even touting those numbers, there has to be some sort of upscaling involved because a lot of current consoles can't do 4K 60 depending on the game, right? I do think that maybe it was a part of the presentation at one point, and then they were like, no, 120 frames per second is the most nerdy we can get here. We cannot talk about AI upscaling.
And don't forget,
For
right?
sure.
They've already announced these tomorrow and the day after giant treehouse streams,
Right.
Where I
Yeah.
think that would be you can go into it.
Something to watch for, I think.
100%. Yeah. Kyle is saying in a super chat, camera 60, Pro controller is 80, and the GameCube controller is $65. These are dollars.
65.
All right in line.
That's a weird number.
Get that GameCube controller for when Smash Melee shows
gotta
up.
be
on
ready.
NSO.
Yeah, gotta
that's
be
gonna
ready.
Cool.
I was kind of talking about Smash real quick. I think because we didn't see it as a Switch 2 upgrade in that small list of games. They didn't show every game, obviously, but I think because it wasn't showcased there, that there has to just be another big game being made.
I think so. Okay, for real though, and I keep saying for real, so I'll promise I'll cut that out.
There's so you're usually such
For
a
real, for
off
real.
the wall
real, for
nonsense
real.
person.
I would just be happy with a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Smash Bros. Ultimate with much better online, 120 FPS, and in a third expansion pass. And if you gave me all of those things, that's a sequel to me because Smash Bros. Ultimate, aside from the online, is basically perfect.
Yeah.
It is an incredible, incredible game that I still play all the time. It has a roster that can never be matched again by any new Smash Bros. Game. If you just give me Smash Bros. Ultimate and a Nintendo Switch and better online and a new expansion pass, I'm in heaven.
And maybe that's
heaven.
why, maybe another reason why we didn't see it as one of these Switch 2 upgrade options is because I think maybe they're just kind of looking at, well, Mario Kart's going to be our multiplayer thing for now. We can do a Smash Bros. Thing in the future, similar to where we saw Mario Party Jamboree having not only Switch 2 enhancements visually, but camera stuff and using all these new little mouse gimmicks or whatever, I could totally see the Smash Bros. Ultimate version being a Switch 2 option with expanded things, and also it just runs better and looks better.
Also,
120 frames per second would be amazing for that.
Give Sakurai a break. He wants to make Kirby right
Yeah,
now.
let him make it.
And he's earned it.
Let
He's
the
earned
man
it.
rest. He's done enough for you.
But Sakurai, we have another racing game we're doing called Mario Kart. No, I don't care.
No, this is Kirby Air Riders. Thank you. Get out of my way. We're going to keep going. Before we get there, of course, we have to move on to possibly the greatest game they showed today, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Whoa.
Here's the thing about it. They jump in. It's showing off. Oh, there's so many new features to learn about the Nintendo Switch 2. So we made Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's an adorable little design. The little desks, like I say, that look exactly like their check-in desks at E3. Cool. I'm all about that. They're moving around. They're doing the thing. I'm like, great. It's when they get to the end and they're like, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will be available to buy from the Nintendo eShop from Nintendo Switch 2 launch day. Like, wait. This isn't a pack-in. This isn't a freebie. This isn't an Astrobot. What are we doing?
Greg, you cannot, in your little demonstration, say, and you can check out a bunch of other tech demos in this paid fucking game. No, man. Like, it's
even the Steam Deck Portal experience, that was free, right? That was a free download. That's
So
insane.
wild.
What a weird miss for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'd love to see the stats on how many people are actually going to buy it.
And not in my Nintendo Switch Online subscription
Right.
either. Like,
Yeah.
I'm already giving you monthly payments. Like, let's just put this in here, y'all.
Yeah, outrageous, crazy, but there it is, showing
And I
you how
missed
Rumble
the
works.
Mii's. I'm sorry.
Of course, no. I want you to keep beating this drum. We
Yeah.
need Street Pass.
Bring-
We need Mii's.
Yes,
Come on,
bring
what are
it
we
Bring
back.
doing?
back the Miiverse.
Bring it
But
back. Get it all over there.
This reminds me of apparently back in the mid 90s, Microsoft tried to make a graphical version of their Windows desktop that was like an adventure game. And it reminds me a little bit of this in the way they were
That-
tutorializing everything.
That
I'm like,
tracks, yeah.
why are we paying for a tutorial for the Switch 2? Unless they have a lot of interesting mini games, but these look at these things. I mean, come on.
He
Yeah,
said the
you
word
know
tech
paying
demo.
for these?
Yeah, he said the word tech demo. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what we are seeing with golf and with shaking a maraca or whatever. But it's just so bizarre that this is something that they're expecting people to buy.
See, I want Nintendo World to come back so I
Yeah.
can play Animal Crossing Sweet Days again, which is the best mini game ever.
Street Pass is so cool though.
So cool. We have more breaking news. I just wanted to verify. Jesus fucking Christ. Left and right Joy-Con 2 controllers. How much are you going to pay for those, Andy?
Oh no,
No.
man, you're setting me up for each separately.
Together. You're
Together?
A new set of Joy-Cons.
They're 100.
95.
100?
95.
Cat?
I'm going to say $120.
90.
90.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, wait.
That's
From
good.
80 to 90, right?
How much is the Pro?
The Pro controller is
80.
Less than that. Yeah.
80.
80.
What?
Hell yeah.
What?
Hell yeah.
You got the mouse.
Dude,
you got
yeah.
the mouse tech in there.
Yeah.
And this is the
Magnets.
classic. Now,
They're expensive.
no, I was gonna say, it's the classic thing of like, yeah, they need to put a new gimmick in there, then that's gonna justify the price or whatever.
Y'all buckle up. Everything's going to be more expensive now. That's just the way it is.
Everything.
Everything.
But at least,
your
like-
eggs, $150 an egg.
But the job market's good though now.
Oh, thank God.
Right? Aren't people
Yeah.
more employed now? People's
Great, the
things
wall's
are
almost
going
done
great.
too, I hear.
They're
Yeah.
building in the price increases right from the start and just setting expectations so that they don't have to raise prices later because they're going to have to.
I've
And the
always
investment is worth it because when AI takes over our jobs, we're going to have so much free time
Exactly.
If
to
anything-
play all of the Switch stuff.
Game consoles have literally been going up in price rather than down in price.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
didn't
with
the
inflation.
Xbox go up in price?
True. I've always been kind of blown away by the price of Joy-Cons anyway, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whenever my nieces and nephew have a Switch now, and it's like, oh, I want to get them Joy-Cons for 80. What the fuck? Like, I was always blown away by that price anyway. So that it doesn't shock me that it went up $10 now or whatever. But it's a better piece of hardware.
Who's gonna
now.
put Per Schneider in the poorhouse? And this man who buys every Joy-Con set.
Gotta have
Oh
every
my
single
God.
colorway. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Big deal.
But again, like, and I'm not at all carrying water, but for me personally, like, this is the chilling effect of like, okay, cool. I don't need that new Pro controller. My old Pro controllers work. I'm never gonna put an audio thing in, and I'm not a back paddle guy. So it's like,
Not yet.
no, not ever. It's just
Not
never.
yet?
I have so many back paddles I don't use.
God,
I
man.
give away the PlayStation DualSense edges. I don't even want. Anyways, Moving on from there, we got into the big news, game cards. They're the same shape as the game cards from Switch 1, but this time they're red. And they're faster.
That a lot of speculation actually about whether they would be a different shape.
Yeah.
And whether there would be compatibility with the original Switch game cards. So in a way, that's actually kind of a relief.
Yeah. And more, I want to know how they taste. This is
Me
the
too,
big
I was
news.
thinking that too.
Right? Remember that?
Put
Remember
red
that?
on my
They're
tongue.
bitter. They were bad
I'm gonna find
before.
out.
The extra $10 is to make them taste good.
Of course, they will be using not micro SD cards, but micro SD Express cards for storage this time around. I said yesterday that I was going to reformat my SD card and just use it here. Somebody blue skied me and was like, Greg, I got bad news. They're not going to
got
use
bad
that.
news.
They got me.
Yeah.
They got me, but I really don't care. And of course, you'll be able to transfer your data from Switch 1 to the Switch 2. We then revealed the Pro Controller, as we've already talked a little bit about. It has the C button, it has the back paddles, and it has an audio jack. Andy, what did you think here as you looked at this Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller for $80?
Super stoked that there's back buttons. I think that was the first thing I was hoping to see. And as soon as they spun that baby around, I was very excited about it.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed their OG Pro Controller. It's always felt really great. It's always been one of the more sturdy pieces of hardware I've ever used, where it just there's no bend to it. You never hear like plastic creaking in that son of a gun. It's just like a really
holds a charge.
feels
forever,
like a
right?
weapon. Yeah, exactly. The battery charges compared to whenever I would use back in the day my DualShock 4, being like, oh my god, I wish everything operated like the Switch controller. Very excited about this. I'm I guess the button remapping would be in the settings, kind of like how you can remap any other button you want whenever you're like, oh man, A is B and B is A, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, what will be the app accessory that
Yeah.
does that, where I have to drop out of the game and go to this and change that? It'll be interesting to see what they have for that.
So I'm very excited about it, though. I'm glad that it's like there's just been so many surprises during this presentation that I would have never expected Nintendo to go. We need 120 frames per second. We need HDR and back paddles on our Pro controller, especially because the last one didn't have that. Again, that was a long time ago. I wasn't even using back paddles back then, but it's still surprising to me that that's something they looked at and said, we want that on our next controller.
Yeah, we spoke about it yesterday of like, how do you improve upon that? It's already great. And just the audio jack would have been enough, right? The C button and the audio jack would be like, all right, cool. They didn't make many crazy changes to it, but the back paddles for me, fantastic. I can't wait to get one.
One of the things they toss in here from a super chat. Remember, you can be part of the show. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames. DTech Nation super chats and says, if the new Pro Controller has a central pivot on the D-pad, then I will buy 4 more LMAO.
I don't know anything about central pivots on D-pad.
Because
That's a Tim
it was
thing.
just a basic T-cross.
Right, exactly. There was
So-
no like. There's not like your
octagon
Xbox.
thing?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
made platformers
circle.
like not that great of an experience on
Oh.
it. Yeah. So.
It's one of those reasons Tim's like the Joker about controllers.
Yeah.
Just constantly trying to find a new one.
It would be great though, because I do like to play 2D platformers on NSO and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Pro Controller is a great experience for that.
Yeah, that is true. Now that I think of it, when I was in my Mario Maker 2 bag and I was just constantly playing that, I was using my 8-bit dough sort of Super Nintendo comparison controller or whatever.
Moving on from there, the next big news was, of course, the June 5th launch date. Since then, we have found out pre-orders open in 1 week from today, right? That's what I said earlier.
The 9th?
Yeah?
Correct.
Yeah.
Got to
Okay,
register
cool.
your interest. I did
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Register. Yeah, we've all registered our interest. Showed that we've played games. I appreciate them trying to figure out ways around scalpers. That's an
Yeah.
interesting idea for it. And like, okay, what are we going to do? How are you going to get it?
I just laughed at the 50-hour thing because I don't know if I have 50 hours in. I guess if it allowed me to pick one,
You haven't played 50 hours of video games on the Nintendo Switch?
I just don't know. Well, I'm on Tim's account now, and I don't know. Like, I'm on his family thing, so I don't know.
They're watching you. They know.
Okay.
They know what you're up to. They know what's happening over there. Another thing that had been pointed out earlier, I have a super chat about it. Jackie M says a Japanese language only Switch 2 is 49,980 yen, which is around $333 US. There's a go on. I heard somebody else talking about the Japanese system, saying that was about scalpers as well, as they try to figure out how to get this system to fans and not just into the hands of people who want to.
There's
flip
a
it.
multi-language Switch available in Japan as well that is marked up and it's higher. I think people are theorizing that maybe this is another way to get around tariffs specifically in terms
But the
Oh.
system itself is in Japanese, but you can still, I assume it's still region free. You can still play Switch 2 games on it. So just learn your hiragana and katakana.
There
You'll
you
be
go.
okay. And then with the settings, and then just play games regularly.
See, I got lost in the weeds. Now, thank you, Bear, for that. Yeah, Jackie was pointing out the Japanese system is $330 US with conversion. All language system, yes, $467 all in. So there you
Interesting.
go. So that's how they are trying to figure out scalpers, but then also tariffs. Very interesting.
Only Japanese accounts can be used on it. Chat is saying.
There you go. There you go.
So it isn't region free. That's a huge change.
Yep.
That's a big change from
Yeah.
the original Switch, because the original Switch was fully region free to the point that you could go on the Japanese eShop and download games onto it. So having a version that is strictly region locked to Japan, wow, we're back in the Xbox 360 era again.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
love that.
No, that sucks. Moving on, though, we then went in to talk about Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. Of course, they have they can have upgraded versions, upgraded visuals, etc., etc. We then listed off a bunch of them. You had Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. They announced Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They announced Kirby and the Forgotten Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed World, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Pokemon Za, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. What's somewhat convoluted again on the other side of this presentation was they went out of their way to point out you can purchase the upgrade for Jamboree in that I purchased an upgrade pack for a lot of them, and then it was, okay, great, that's fine. And then we came out of it and it was, well, the Zeldas are going to be included if you have a Nintendo Switch Online account. So again, a little bit confusing as we get into it, but kind of what we expected. Now we wonder how much it'll all cost.
Yeah, I guess we can only speculate on that right now.
As I'm trying to dig around,
The
yeah,
thing
I believe so.
The thing that I'm happy to see and was kind of surprised about is it's more than just an upgraded graphically, or a remaster. It includes a lot of new features, new games, for example, in Mario Party Jamboree. And I think that could have been a full-priced standalone release.
For
which
sure.
It basically is. So having an upgrade path is really nice.
Yeah.
I think, and it makes me excited for Nintendo Switch 2 online editions for a lot of these different games. So
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that Scarvi would be shown in this one, because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, not good.
Ran garbage.
Dog shit
Not
looking.
good on
Yeah.
the Switch.
Yeah.
Real gross looking.
So I think another question that I have is, will Switch games run better just through backwards compatibility? Because I'm okay with not getting a Switch 2 edition if, say, Scarlet and Violet can do a locked 30 FPS on the Switch 2 through backward compatibility.
I have a feeling that they will do whatever they were intended to do, but then obviously hardware would prevent make Link's Awakening run like dog shit whenever there's water on screen or whatever. I have a feeling that whatever the Switch 2 hardware does to these older Switch 1 games, that they will run as they were intended, but you're not going to get just like this, obviously, 60 frame per second version. And I think that they're kind of setting the precedent as well with saying, hey, if there's any games that we want to make visually look better and run up to 60 frames and get crazy higher resolutions, that those might be those are from now on likely going to be in this expansion pack or be in the online package. And then games like Mario Party or anything that we're adding camera functionality or any sort of new mini games, that'll likely be the add-on type deal, you know?
The chat says that Pokemon Gen 9, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be getting updates for the Switch 2, like maybe free updates. So, and I wouldn't be shocked if a bunch of games are kind of like that. It's like, well, you're getting better FPS and that sort of thing. And yeah, we're getting additional features if you get a Switch 2 edition, and then maybe 120 FPS support and whatnot, which, by the way, awesome. I love that. So,
But I like, oh gosh, to me, the problems run so much deeper than just like bad frame rate on that game.
yeah.
Like just like mountains and geometry just looking like ass the whole time.
No, that's a really ugly game
Yeah.
from an art direction standpoint.
And I loved it anyway. You know, it's my ugly child.
People love to drag the Switch's hardware performance. There are really good looking games on the Switch. Scarlet and Violet looks horrible.
We've seen what devs can do when they have all the time in the world.
Look at Tears of the Kingdom versus Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They're not in the same universe.
I'm seeing people say that Nintendo has. There it is. Thank you very much.
I've been
Melissa
looking
with
at
the Y.
I've been looking at Greg the whole time while talking, and I see just the GIF of him that gets posted everywhere with the math
Yeah, he's busy.
equations.
Well, it's like
He's working.
I love this stuff because it always feels like election night at CNN, where it's like there's all this stuff breaking and you're trying to find out what's going on. So when I see somebody say something, there's just no centralized hub anymore, right?
Greg Kornacki.
So Melissa with the Y has given me this link that this isn't against her. That's the Nintendo Switch thing, but it's so much stuff. It's the entire just page of it. So now I'm trying to figure out where they're talking about upgrades. But of course, it's one of those damn web pages that goes as I go.
They did that Xbox when they did the big backwards compatibility support. Just an Excel spreadsheet of here's the
Right,
game, this is what
exactly.
happens.
Yeah.
And just give it to us like that.
Okay. In addition, well, is that what we're talking about?
Kirby gets a little more gameplay. That was exciting. I like that, even though I don't know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most exciting thing is somebody who did not finish Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom getting all these benefits
Dude,
and HDR and all
finish
that
Tears
stuff.
of the
I
Kingdom.
know,
Dude,
I
it's an
know.
Come
incredible
the
game.
fuck on, man.
Guys, I know. I
Dude.
said I know. All right. God damn.
He pissed us all off, the cat.
I don't know if that's true.
The year of Tears of the Kingdom, when we're reviewing it, Greg is like, look, we got to give an award to the game that isn't Tears of the Kingdom because we know that's going to win Game of the Year.
That's true, I
And
did.
then Greg, he fucked off for a while, then he came back and he was like,
Just didn't finish it. Didn't finish it.
off
You
for
know
a
what I
while.
mean?
I
What are
hate
you gonna
him.
do about it?
I hate him.
Here's the free updates for this. This is Barrett showing me. Free updates to improve playability on Nintendo Switch 2 will be released for select Nintendo Switch games. By connecting your Nintendo Switch to the internet, you'll get them.
Link's Awakening.
They have
Yes.
that's awesome. So
Yes.
ARMS, Captain Toad, Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, Clubhouse Games, thank goodness. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Bros. U, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain. Where the fuck is Animal Crossing?
Oh my god, yeah, the load times on
the
that
fuck?
game.
Where's Animal Crossing?
The load times on that game are not good. They're not good. They're really
Not good.
long. Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Switch to Online Edition with new content, please.
Yes. Jumping over here, there's important information about compatibility of Nintendo Switch games with Nintendo Switch 2. Status of compatibility test for Nintendo Switch games on the Nintendo Switch 2, updated April 1, 2025. It looks great. There's Nintendo games, it's 122. Partner games, over 15,000 games. There's not like a list here that I'm seeing. So you're fine. It's fine. Whatever. Moving back to it, yeah, we went through this. So Jamboree, cool, you get to put your face in there. Zelda, better frame rate and HDR, plus Zelda Notes, which I'm a big dork for a second screen experience like that. It's in the Switch app. You can turn on guidance for GPS. You can share your creations you've made via QR codes to download stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't hate that.
There's a Korok under this rock.
Yeah.
A terrible AI voice.
It's so
Just
weird.
Absolutely awful.
Global play data. You got a daily bonus on there. Again, I waited. I knew this was
Various
coming.
locations, like shrines and Koroks you
Let's listen
haven't
to the
found
voice.
yet.
Guidance activating.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it just sounded like Google. I don't know. I'm just used
It
to
doesn't
that.
sound
So,
like
like,
Zelda.
get it more in theme with Zelda.
Oh, for
you know?
sure.
Have
Yeah.
Tangle tell me where to go.
I downloaded Waze recently. Man, you can get all sorts of people
Why,
talking to you.
why do you have a
They have
voice and
Halo
not the
waves.
sound effect?
Good point. Yeah. Kirby and the Forgotten Kingdom, like we said. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. It'll have mouse controls, Andy.
Yes.
I never thought I'd see the day. When you guys were talking about that,
amazing.
wanting that, asking for that, I was like, that'll never happen. That'll never happen.
Also, it opens the door for Metroid Prime 3 to come to Switch 2 because that was a motion control game. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it would be super easy to do, but you could do a lot of that with the mouse.
yeah, true.
Super exciting. Yeah.
4K 60 or 1080, 120 frames HDR.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Which one are you going to play at?
Oh, 120 frames. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this. Frames win games.
Frames do win games. Yeah.
Heard that.
100%, 120.
Here's
FPS.
what's gonna happen, man. Like, look, everybody's been shitting on me, like, Andy, you can't even fucking tell the difference. You're gonna see the light once you get your hands on what it feels like to experience at 120 hertz, anything over 60 frames per second or 60 hertz. Tim already told me, like, dude, I would always shit on you, Andy, and like, you know, when we were hanging out, we went to the Final Fantasy concert. Greg, Tim was like, man, I've been playing. I forget what game he was telling me in 120 hertz. He's like, it's really hard to go back. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like,
It's just impossible to showcase on a stream.
Yeah,
and,
you
like
just-
all of that stuff. Like you have to see the screen in real life on your own. Handheld
response
mode
time
being,
is what you'll notice the most. I'm not
Yes.
saying that you're going to be like, I need to see every frame, but because there are extra frames, that means that the game will respond that much quicker to you hitting the button, and you're going to feel that when you go back to 60.
And you even get it 120 frames per second on handheld mode for 720p though.
Insane.
That said, 720 is basically standard definition in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's even on that screen.
But
and
the
the
screen
Switch
is 1080
One looked like
because
that
we
too.
will get a 1080 60 FPS.
I think
for
I'm okay
quality.
with 1080 60.
Yeah.
I'm still mind blown that these are even specification options for.
I'm
a
really
game.
glad that it's not like 1080 30 and then
Oh, yeah.
720 60. Just 60 FPS. Just having 60 FPS is the baseline for me right now.
It's so awesome.
Get it up there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wario64 because what you wanted with that Excel spreadsheet does in fact exist.
Nice.
Nintendo Switch 2 compatibility list issues, and it has two different PDFs PDFs. Nintendo Switch games that start up on Nintendo Switch 2, but include some in-game compatibility issues. Games with startup issues on Nintendo Switch 2, and they have a list of like the thing. It's like handling. It's being investigated. So if you were looking forward to playing Steven Universe Save the Light, it's got an issue, Al.
This makes a lot more sense for the fact that people. I don't know how credible any of this even was. I think it was fairly credible that Xenoblade Chronicles X had the 60 frame per second mode that was hidden.
Yeah.
Like that
yeah.
makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Obviously, like
There's a lot of speculation when people found that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Continuing on our walk, of course, Pokemon Za popped up. It'll have better resolution and better frame rate. And then, they talked about there being physical and digital versions of these enhanced versions. Plus, you can buy the upgrade pack.
That makes me so happy because I did not expect Za to have any of these upgrades. Like when we saw this direct, we all just kind of came to the conclusion, and that's just based on how Nintendo has generally operated, that this will be obviously the last sort of bastion of Switch 1 visuals and performance for Pokemon, and the next big mainline Pokemon game will finally have the Switch 2 upgrades and better frame rate and better resolution. And I'm just so I'm super stoked that that's going to happen already with this upcoming one.
For sure. Like, somebody who's excited for Za to jump in and have it be the best version on Switch 2. I'm like, okay, cool. Red.
Super exciting.
From there, we got our next new Nintendo game. Drum roll, please, Mike. It's drag and drive. Now, you might look at it online and say, that's drag X drive. So clearly it's drag cross drive. But Nintendo goes out of their way to put in their press release parentheses, it's pronounced drag and drive. At which point I would say, why didn't you put and in it? Why didn't you put an ampersand in
Put
there?
the cool logo,
Why didn't
yep.
you put a plus in there? I digress.
But it does sound similar to Dragon Drive, which honestly I would be more into.
Drag and drive would be cool.
Yeah.
Watch
If you're an audio
Why don't I
listener,
ride
use the
dragons?
Joy-Con 2 mouse controls and enjoy a new experience by strapping into Drag and Drive, a new online 3v3 game experience. Drag and Drive challenges players to use mouse controls with both the Joy-Con 2 at the same time to intuitively steer, speed up, perform tricks, and make plays such as dunks. Get ready to gear up when Drag and Drive launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 this summer.
This is going to be similar to the time that everybody got to play like Skyward Sword, and they're like, I don't want to use the fucking waggle.
Yep.
Like, this game looks so cool. And then the whole time I would remember, oh, you're controlling it with the weird kind of Joy-Con movements. I don't want that. Like, this game looks like it's fun, but I don't know if I want that style of controlling. This looks kind of awkward.
This is another one that I look at, and
It's hoops. It's
no
goofy.
offense to anybody, I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is clearly a pack-in. This is a free. Here's how you want to use the mousey controls. Oh no, this is gonna be a game. This is gonna be a pay for
This
a
is
game.
the new ARMS grip.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, does this do anything for you as a sports guy?
I mean, I have to be real with you. Greg said it the best. Of like, you're gonna find me 12 o'clock at 10:30 or Tuesday at like 10:30 at night, and I'm gonna be screaming at this game. So yeah, this does a lot for me, Greg. I love the
God
gimmicky
bless you,
stuff from ARMS and beyond. I think this is something you look at and it's like, what is that fun gimmick that we're gonna do? Here it is. Yeah, you better watch out. I'm probably gonna get addicted to this.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's just going to be frustrating with, like, space to move. You know what I mean? Like,
We're just gonna be
gotta
sitting
have
there
a
on your
big
couch
desk.
with your little table.
yeah, it's just kind of, I guess, like a mouse is the same thing, but
Roger
it's
made a joke
awkward.
that they were going to sell a Nintendo lap table, and I'm still waiting for it because
Yeah.
they probably are for all this stuff. Barrett's rolled us into the next section. It is, of course, the partners. This is where Nintendo said, you know what? It's not just all on us. We have a bunch of different partners, and they started with Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Andy.
Yeah, this was one that we all kind of assumed or predicted, like, man, it would be awesome if they showed off Elden Ring to show, like, we are taking this third-party shit serious now. Like, there's been so many large publishers skipping out on the first Switch. We want to show them, hey, You don't got to spend a whole lot of money to downgrade the shit out of your game like Mortal Kombat 1 looked on Switch 1. All of your games are going to be possible on this piece of hardware. And what an incredible way to show off how serious you're taking it than with one of the greatest games ever created.
On this entire section, it hit me of like, man, the story of like Nintendo in the Switch era, where it wasn't. I don't know if it was Nintendo not taking third parties seriously. I think a lot of third parties pre-Switch 1 and going into the launch of the Switch 1 were very like, we're not going to fucking make games. Yeah, like all these publishers doubting, and then to see them all showing up for this, it was like, damn, look at how much Nintendo has really turned things around.
100%.
They've come, it's been coming all the way back, and third party's always been really rough for Nintendo because going back to the GameCube, they haven't been really on par with the other consoles. So third party was like, well, are we going to downgrade our games?
Exactly. Go through more work for less return.
The story of Nintendo is Mass Effect 3 coming out on the Wii U for some reason rather than the trilogy. That's the kind of thing. And EA in particular really skipped out on the Nintendo Switch. We were talking about how there was no Madden on the Switch, no NHL. I would love NHL on the Switch too.
Every sports game should be on the Switch, is right.
100%. And there's still a lot of questions like, will EA Sports FC be the downgraded version?
Of
Probably.
course. You and I will have that conversation when we get there for sure. There's going to be something like that, is right. But it was a cool Avengers moment to see everybody kind of rally behind this big announcement. I mean, it is the biggest stage, right? You talked about it, Andy, of like, man, we only get so many Nintendo Switch console reveals, right? And to see everybody gather here, show off their biggest and baddest. I mean, Elden Ring to start is such a big win, right? We're going to roll into Hades. This is something you and I talked about, Greg, is like, why I bought the Steam Deck was because I play a lot of third-party games, and I want that kind of to be my everything console. And the Switch very much felt like I'm either buying Nintendo's first-party titles because I know they'll run well, but when I jump onto a Monster Hunter Rise or anything else, it just doesn't run well, and it's not a good system for me to be justifying a lot of these purchases. So I hope that we will get a better version of a lot of these than I got in the Switch 1.
Maybe this year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think no Monster Hunter, by the way.
Yeah.
No Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Not shocking. That I expected.
I wonder if this will end up being secretly the best version of Elden Ring. Because there are a lot of kind of weird problems with the PC version, some hitches and whatnot on the Steam Deck version. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is my recollection of it. So
no,
I hope
Elden
that
Ring
they
has
bring
never run great. Yeah. From Software is notorious for lacking in the tech department, where they still don't have things like DLSS, and you always have to go with mods to implement all sorts of more recent like rendering tech to make things run a little bit better. I was kind of shocked that we didn't see any Xbox stuff.
Yeah, Game Pass. I know some people were surprised they didn't see something there pop up.
Yeah. I think the fact that we had Doom or Doom Eternal on the first Switch, I really expected to see the Dark Ages show up here.
Or Halo, because there were speculation. There were rumors of Halo, a version of Halo Master Chief Collection on the Switch. And that's like that's its oldest time. People have been speculating on that since the original Switch.
Yeah.
So still hasn't appeared here.
That would take up the whole hard drive, right?
That's
like 130 gig games.
Yeah.
Well, the rumor was that it was going to be split into different parts. So you'd basically get maybe the original Halo, and then you can buy the others a la carte.
Running through this partner section, right? Yeah, we said Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, Hades 2, Street Fighter, which confirmed they will have new amiibos.
That was a wild one. I really thought we were moving on from that and never going to look back. I love that. I think that's fun and neat. I love that.
The best thing to come out of the Wii U era. Seriously.
Then you had Damon Hatfield Cross Machina. Split Fiction is going to be a launch game. Joseph Ferris was there to tell us about it. And feel free if you guys want to stop me to talk about anything.
I mean, it's a perfect partnered game for them to have.
100%.
I mean, what a great title to have for families that are going to be in front of a couch playing on a singular machine. That's awesome.
Yep.
EA Sports FC and Madden will be coming to the Switch 2 at some point. No real details on that other than the announcement that EA is supporting. Hogwarts Legacy's whatever Super Edition was shown. That's going to be a launch title as well for the Switch 2. Tony Hawk 3+4 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, but more importantly, it's getting a SpongeBob
It's
crossover.
getting a fucking SpongeBob level, dog. Hell yeah.
That's what Barrett, I mean, you just make it better for Barrett. That's what it's all about.
What was so weird about that segment was I thought the sync was so off that a SpongeBob game was happening after what we saw, and I was like, "Oh, they're teasing a SpongeBob game now." But then that didn't happen. It was like something else entirely afterwards.
And it's the weird way that they introduced it too is like I think it's here where they go here and then they drop in here. Like I wonder if it's a secret area. Like I wonder if they're teasing something like that in terms of maybe it's not a full level, just like a fun little
Easter
secret
egg.
things that they're interjecting into a bunch of levels, which would be fun, you know.
Then Hitman World of Assassination was confirmed to be a launch game, but then
Definitely on my list of shame. I've
Never-
not played a Hitman.
Oh
game.
wow!
Gotta
You
play
would-
it.
you
This is the great
you
one.
would love them.
No
Yeah.
better time to jump in right now than on the Nintendo
There
Switch
has
2
never been a better
with a mouse
time
control.
to hop into Hitman.
Yeah.
But then they said that Project 007, the James Bond IO interactive project we know nothing about but know is happening,
But it's
will be
happening.
coming to Switch 2 as well.
Yeah, this is the
Someday.
moment I had to hold my breath. I was like, oh my God, we're going to see it. This could be
Yeah.
insane at a Switch reveal. But, you know, I love that it's coming to Switch too. Maybe we'll see more. I'd love to see more.
Up next was Bravely Default Flying Fairy Remastered. You pop for it. You got mouse mini games now in this one, Kat.
Mouse mini games.
Yeah, for the using
Oh,
little thing they
that's
showed.
cool.
Yeah, we were talking.
Yeah.
There was so much happening at
I'm
all
into
points in
that.
time in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think there you go. Here's some mouse mini games.
Underappreciated RPG. Buy it.
Okay.
Support more Bravely Default. Bravely Default 2, low key, one of the best RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. Give us Bravely Default 3. Support this game.
Do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then Yakuza 0 Director's Cut will be a launch day title as well, but none of the other ones were confirmed. There is new cutscenes in this too, they said, which is neat.
How can they not have the full Yakuza series on this thing? It's everywhere.
Yeah, I know,
It's
right?
on every platform.
They'll
Are you
roll
kidding
it
me?
out. They'll do a slow.
But I
roll.
thought it would be like the da. Here they are. But I guess, it makes sense. Get people in there, get them hooked like so many other people have. From there, we moved on to a collaboration with Koei Tecmo. It is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom coming this winter. You will play as Zelda and other characters in this Muso game. Barrett, what do we think?
I think this makes sense for doing more Hyrule Warriors. I think it's awesome that this is the setting that they have chosen is Zelda's perspective, essentially, of what we see through Tears of the Kingdom. I know, Andy, like during the direct, you were like, "Oh, is this really the type of game we want for a prequel?" And I think it fits, especially with Age of Calamity being kind of the prequel to Breath of the Wild. I think it makes sense here, and yeah, I'm down for Zelda Muso on a better hardware, so that hopefully it runs more than 15 frames per second. And I'm not a huge Muso head, but I love the crossovers that they do. They're always so fun and creative of how they integrate other franchises into their gameplay, like the Persona game as well. Yeah, I'm into this. This looks cool.
I hate Muso games.
Hate.
Hate them.
Wow.
I just cannot get into the genre at
Sure.
all. But I have to give Koei Tecmo credit for they've gotten really good, actually. They do a really great job with other franchises, and I think some people had questions about Age of Calamity's story, but
We all have questions about Zelda's story.
Yeah. but here, I want to play Zelda. I want to
Yeah.
play as Tears of Kingdom Zelda. I think it's cool that it's showing her story in its own game. That's cool.
It's like Lion King 1.5.
Yeah,
Remember?
exactly.
Where were Timon and Pumbaa the whole time?
Timon,
Yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa.
I want to
they
know
were
Nala's story.
doing
It's
it.
basically
Yeah,
what.
exactly.
Well, Simba was off doing whatever.
Yeah.
From there, we moved on to your update for Nintendo Switch Online, which of course is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's coming with the expansion pass, and the Nintendo GameCube library is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 Online in the expansion pass. They confirmed 3 games for launch, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX, which will include 4-player online and local multiplayer. And Barrett, you finally got it. There it is, Wind Waker.
Not like this, man. This is disappointing. Again, I feel like similar to the Star Fox racing game that was quote unquote leaked, which at this point I think it was Nintendo seeing who was leaking stuff internally. I think the Wind Waker Twilight Princess Wii U HD ports, which was rumored when I was back at IGN, I think might be a similar situation to see it finally come through Nintendo Switch Online is a bit took the wind out of my sails here a little bit, Greg, which kind of sucks. I'll still play it. The big advantage specifically for Wind Waker HD was the Triforce quest. Was definitely a burden on the GameCube version, and they improved it a lot in the Wii U version, which just makes the last third of the game a bit more smooth. I'll still fucking play it though. Wind Waker kicks ass, and I truly miss that game. So fuck it,
It would have been so cool to not see it and go, that's because we know what's going on. But when it's the first thing you see, you're like, will that still happen? It's Nintendo. Maybe they'll still shit out that HD remake.
Maybe they shit it out.
Yeah, interesting that we see it here and no Twilight Princess whatsoever. I know people associate it more with the Wii, but it was technically also a GameCube game. So I don't know, maybe we'll see those HD
It's got
remasters.
an HD remaster on the Wii U, and people are wondering why the heck didn't it come out on Switch?
Yep.
It was pretty weird.
Very
actually.
weird.
When can I play Mario Galaxy 2?
Yeah.
Well, I have good news for you. You will be able to play Mario Sunshine again via Nintendo Switch Online with GameCube, Luigi's Mansion, and a bunch of other ones. They put at the end saying more are coming, but of course you know more are coming. There was
I would rather wrestle a tiger than play that bullshit game.
I have a lot of questions about GameCube. So the NSO has significant input delay, and will that be better on the Nintendo Switch too? I want to know.
Well, if you spend $65 and get the GameCube controller that's coming on launch day.
They said that the biggest question for that is for Melee, because Melee is a very precise game. So if Melee is not that great on Nintendo Switch Online, that'll be a little bit of a miss. On the flip side, GameCube games, relatively hard to play in a lot of ways, unless they came out as a remaster on the Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
Games like F-Zero GX, awesome to see. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, that game was practically impossible to find. I sold my copy a while ago for like $120 or something like that. And it's probably only gone up in price since then. Great Fire Emblem, by the way. So having this collection of games readily available, that's a huge, huge add. And a lot of these games still look really, really good. Yes, Wind Waker is inferior on the GameCube to the Wii U version, but you should still play
looks
it.
pretty as hell though. Like,
Still looks great. Look at this.
That's a game that'll just age perfectly forever. You know.
Remember when everybody was mad about it, Andy?
Yes.
We were
Fucking
stupid.
insane.
Yeah,
It
but
was
we
a
were
long
stupid.
time
We
ago.
were stupid.
Gamers were stupid in 2003,
It's just the
and they're
we're still
better now.
stupid. We're still stupid.
I always thought it was great back in the day. I remember
Yeah.
holding court in my college bedroom. It wasn't my dorm room. I was living in the Antler house. But like people just came in and watched me play that one, and they loved it. But I think the thing was the swerve, right?
Yeah.
Where they revealed the GameCube and they showed this realistic Ganon and Link
Zelda.
fight, and we were all like,
What a
And
swerve.
everything was darker and edgier
Yeah,
and
of
everything.
course.
got it
Because
eventually
my
with
stupid
Twilight.
ass would have had the new Zelda game looking like The Darkness. Or some
Yeah.
shit. You know, it would've
That's
been
what everybody wanted.
It would have been stupid as hell, man. We
But-
would have looked back like, why did we want that?
Shout out to Soul Calibur 2, the best Soul Calibur game. Link is overpowered in that one. It has an amazing single player mode. And if you have not played a Soul Calibur game, that's the one.
Oh.
Really, really good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
good to know.
It's low-key, very fun to play with friends on the couch.
From there, we rolled back into more partners. Immediately, Barrett popped for Deltarune, coming on launch day for the Switch 2.
Is that the first we'd ever seen of these dates, Barrett?
Toby Fox had been giving a lot of updates on like they have been bug testing chapters 3 and 4, which we've been waiting on for a while. 1 and 2 had been released previously, so yeah, this launching on Switch 2, and yeah, I think this is the entire game, right, Kat? Like I thought there was more chapters after 4, but maybe I'm misremembering.
My recollection is that it's 1 through 4.
Okay.
And there's been Toby Fox has basically been teasing this for quite a while now. So it's a really nice win to have secretly one of the bigger announcements during this stream, because there's a very large and very frothing fandom of Undertale who have been waiting for this for a while now.
Chat is correcting us, I believe. Yeah, my thought.
7 chapters.
Yeah, it's
okay.
7 chapters because each chapter is a
Forgive
day
me.
in the week.
Forgive me.
How dare you?
So yeah,
I'm waiting-
it's
I'm
it's
waiting
crazy
for all
that
7.
this is still not the full game, but there's
Yeah, okay.
still so much here. Like the chapters 1 and 2, I think were 5 to 6
7
hours.
chapters.
Yeah, it's gonna be a beefy game. So
Square, take note.
From there, we rolled on. Randy Pitchford popped up to tell you
this
that
guy out of here.
in 2025, Borderlands 4 will launch on the Switch 2. From there, we rolled into Civ 7. Civ 7, of course, a Switch game already, will have a Nintendo Switch 2 in addition. It'll come on launch day for the Switch 2. It'll be a paid upgrade. You will be able to use your mouse, Mike.
Click, 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 click.
Exactly. Then we had a little bit from 2K. They popped up to let you know WWE and NBA will be coming to the Switch 2 at some point. Don't worry about that. Special K90 became a member on the Super Chats and said, Take-Two must be excited to announce that NBA 2K26 is $90 now. Can't imagine how much GTA 6 will cost.
Woo.
Yeah, I can't. Kat, let's put it down. You and I, we circle back maybe in a year when we start to see these sports franchises come out. What are they? Are they always going to be yearly? Can I bank on that as a Switch consumer? Will it maybe turn one day into the Greg Miller fantasy of a live service where we get these content updates and we do that? We know. But yeah, what is the future of sports games on Switch? Can I really rely on them to hit it yearly, or will this drop off quickly and all of a sudden they just abandon that? It'll be fun to talk about.
For sure.
From there, you got into some quick hits. We saw Survival Kids. We didn't actually because the stream died. Then you saw Enter the Gungeon 2 get announced. Nice. Star Seeker Astroneer Expeditions. Jesus. 2026 is coming out.
Really quick, this is the VOD for the live stream. It's still just frozen here, which is, man, that's rough stream
You
for
hear Kevin Fox? Sorry.
sorry.
Cyberpunk
OBS.
2077 Ultimate Edition was announced and shown. It will be a launch day game for the one, the only, the Nintendo Switch 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade got shown. Path of the Goddess, Silk Song, and a sizzle reel. 2025, keeping the hopes alive, everybody.
2025 being there is still unbelievable. Like,
What a tease.
oh my God. And, you know, Kat calling it right perfectly in that moment was hilarious.
I just thought it would be funny that it would be in the sizzle reel because Silk Song is such a huge deal. And they said, no, it's still here. Still coming.
Still coming. Don't worry about it. It's happening. Then it was just rapid fire here, right? Barrett's showing it. Story of Seasons, Goodnight Universe, 2 Point Museum, Wild Hearts coming July 25th.
Wild Hearts S.
Was that what the full title was?
Yeah, which it's got to be their own Switch version with maybe more additional stuff in there.
Surprising given that EA just completely abandoned that game really fast.
Real fast.
Hey, there is a Monster Hunter, turns out, on Switch.
There you go. Let me get you.
I mean, all these
more.
enemies look the same, so maybe not. Maybe it's not a full sequel, but
Wild Hearts S is actually coming this time around from Bandai Namco. Or no, Koei Tecmo. Sorry, or they made it all the time.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
let me see what's in here.
great character creator in that game. Koei Tecmo always has amazing character creators.
Heard.
Wild Hearts S players master ancient tech to hunt down the giant beast in an imaginative world inspired by feudal Japan. Hunt in a pack of up to 4 players in seamless co-op, or play as a lone wolf to fight the fearsome beasts. Yeah, same thing as always. That's cool. Good for them. Then hopping back over to where we were, like I already said, Witchbrook. Puyo Puyo Tetris got a version. Rune Factory, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. They showed Star Wars Outlaws, Nobuga's Revenge, Fast Furious. Did I kick something? Fast Fusion.
You said Fast and Furious, like what?
I did, but that's because I was just doing what Bear was doing. Shadow Labyrinth, Raidu. I wrote No Sleep. I don't think that's the name of the game. They were coming too fast. Reanimal, Fortnite, Arcade
that was
Archives.
you just typing your own thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Tamagotchi, something or other. Human Fall Flat
Tamagotchi
2.
Life.
Hey, man. I wrote what I wrote.
Mm.
A lot of stuff there, Kat.
What was the Arcade Archives game again?
I knew you were going to ask me a question.
Good challenge right there.
Arcade
Kat.
Archives 2 Ridge Racer.
Oh yeah,
It's Ridge Racer.
It's not a Switch. It's not a console release unless it has Ridge Racer out there.
Ridge Racer.
So I feel really good about it. Professor Layton, good to see it back.
Yeah. Oh,
Classic.
that was Pro Layton that I wrote. I was like, when I was reading my bullet points, I was like, I don't know what that means. Keep moving.
Keep moving.
And then, of course,
Oh, it wasn't Tamagotchi Life. It was Tamagotchi.
You
You're
son
right.
bitch.
Tamagotchi.
son bitch. The final one, not really, but their last partner title, the Duskbloods. Andy, take it away.
Well, there's been a lot of. I don't know if we have any press releases.
I was hoping you would just talk about what you thought so I could look for the press release.
Still completely shocking. I didn't recognize the art style and just kind of the way their characters are rendered. And there was also a stunning lack of So that's why I was like, this isn't a From Software game. We need somebody to say, and then laugh at the end of their statement. But I'm still completely blown away. I thought it was going to be a Castlevania sort of remake. Weird sort of a cool, holy shit, what an awesome joining of worlds. But yeah, a brand new IP, a brand new video game, not a sequel, just a new thing for exclusively on the Switch 2.
And
I mean, really quick, when you have a shot like this, it's like, this is a Castlevania game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We read from The Verge, where Antonio writes, From Software is making a multiplayer Switch 2 exclusive called The Duskbloods. It's directed, of course, by Miyazaki. The Duskbloods, a new game from Software, is coming exclusively to Nintendo Switch 2. The teaser trailer debuted. See, damn it. I thought they had the press release. There's a press release over there. Somebody's calling out Melissa with a Y again.
Yeah, many people are still... there's a lot of people saying that it is a multiplayer PvE, PvP game.
So like Elden Ring, Night Rain.
Well, no, that's not PvP.
Yeah, PvP,
Okay.
PvE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's PvE. So this is PvP, PvE.
So it's like Coliseum, like I talked about with Night Rain. What's the elevations and different gameplays?
Yeah.
Here we go. I got
teams
thanks
in
to
that.
Melissa with a
Damn.
Y. I got your information here, right?
Thank you,
Coming
Melissa with a Y.
2026. Developed for the upcoming Switch 2, The Duskbloods is a PvPvE title with online multiplayer at its core, where up to 8 players vie for supremacy among themselves and against challenging foes. Play as the Bloodsworn, a group that has transcended human strength thanks to their special blood, and throw yourself into a violent fray for first blood as the twilight of humanity approaches. Currently 2026. Hope you look forward to it.
Makes me way less excited. I don't want.
yeah?
I don't want a PvP thing
VE?
in my From Software game. Like obviously, From Software have always had duels and things like that, but I don't want that to be like a part of the core game. I want to experience a new universe with awesome new lore and storytelling.
Sure.
And, not what I want, but I'm still stoked to give it a shot.
What do you think the chances are you eat those words? That you get into this and you're like, holy
We
shit.
did kind of
actually
eat them on
like
Night Rain.
I guess PvE has always been different for me because I've played multiplayer From Software games, and for me it was more of the worry factor for me for Night Rain was more of like, this feels like a bastardization of something that's so special to me, and you're just kind of going for roguelite, blah, blah, blah. And it still obviously worked because we've played multiplayer Elden Ring plenty. We played seamless co-op plenty, and it's always a blast to play Elden Ring and Souls games with friends. Adding the PvP nature of it, I feel like just adds, it depends on how it's implemented, obviously. I think if you're constantly running around and you're seeing other people doing their thing, running around, I just don't know if I want that out of my From Software experience.
I agree with the chat. Let Miyazaki cook. I think that the online multiplayer space badly needs innovation. And I really appreciate that From Software, amazing, incredible single player with a actually pretty decent online pedigree, is going and really trying to innovate in that space, first with Night Rain and now with this. And what it sounds like is that you have kind of an interesting world or arena that you're playing with other players, maybe almost a battle royale situation, filled with the classical From Software level design, enemies, bosses, question mark.
there have to be, right?
It
We
sounds like-
definitely saw a
To go
gigantic,
get
like,
the most
wolf-looking
souls
dude.
is right. Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like a really interesting mixture of elements, and I don't know how confused it's going to be, but I mean, it's From Software.
I'm with you, Kat.
I'm with
like
Kat.
when they
Fuck Andy.
I like them.
Yeah.
I want them to try different things, right? I think we know the bread and butter. We know they're going to go back to the single player games all the time. We're going to get those epic experiences, but to see them try something different and really try to innovate in the space that you and I, Andy, we want them to be better at, which is the online multiplayer connectivity.
Oh, yeah.
And make that a little bit smoother. I love that. Like right now, we are seeing them throw some things at the wall and say, hey, how do we at least try? And so I love that Night Rain is that, hey, PvE, we got squad of 3, we're going to go out and have some fun. I'm interested in this of like, is it 8 solo combatants running around a giant arena? And there's that fun push and pull that you always get in a Dark Souls game of somebody invades you and it's the tiptoe of who's gonna strike first, who's gonna step forward at me. I love the idea of maybe me creeping up behind someone, maybe looking across the battlefield at 1 or 2 other people and seeing how we're going to engage with each other. You talk about a Cat, like Miyazaki and this team at From Software have really made an incredible combat system that is fun and difficult to master, and it's so engaging moment to moment that I would love to be able to battle others. I liked Dark Souls with their online arena combats, and the idea of taking that to another level is cool for me.
Whenever this would all be amazing to me if it wasn't the year 2025, because when I think of the way multiplayer games work nowadays, 3 days in, there's an established meta. What's the meta? What's the and that's the thing that ruins the experience for me. And I think you have to take this game more seriously because they say it is led by Miyazaki. This is the fucking dude who could be working on whatever he wants right now, and he's working on this game. And that adds a lot of pedigree, and that adds a lot of excitement. But then on the flip side of it, the reason why I was a lot cooler with Night Rain is because I'm like, well, Miyazaki's not working on this. Miyazaki, we know, is cooking the next big thing, and it's very likely he is still making the next big thing over there that is going to be their cross-platform gigantic experience. I just hope this isn't the only thing he's working on.
I just got to show some respect to From Software, a studio that is not going to rest on established franchises. It has a style, has a house style. It knows who it is. That's good. But it's innovating. It's trying new things. It's going out and making interesting experiences. And frankly, I'm here for it because too many studios are playing it really safe because they feel like they have to. From Software is consistently playing with house money. So, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I want to see what this is.
If anything, I'm with Mike where it's like, this may not be the exact thing I want. I'm just excited that they are stepping out of our multiplayer systems have always sucked.
Yeah.
Night Rain kind of being, Elden Ring making things easier, and even then it's not easy to do. It's
not perfect.
You have to go farm a little fucking flower to summon a friend in. Like it's always sucked. And then when they talked about, when they're asked, hey, have you seen the seamless PC mod? And they're like, yeah, it's kind of neat. We would love to bring experiences like that in the future.
Yeah.
Night Rain gets debuted, and we're like, holy shit, whoa, they were serious. They had always been working on something to not make multiplayer a pain in the ass to join up with friends. And this being another option, like, if anything, this isn't exactly what I want from the next big From Software Miyazaki-led project, but it shows me that they're taking multiplayer serious, which makes me very excited that I don't have to go farm a goddamn jewel in a cave, you know?
And I'm sure we'll talk more about it because we're kind of funny and we really love Souls games. So I'm sure we'll go deeper. But like the guns turning into a T-Rex, like these are things we're not really seeing often in the Souls-born genre that we see in these games. So I like this.
It reminded me of making the dragon out of your hand.
Yes,
when you're
that
doing
was
like
cool.
dragon
Do
spells.
you think it'll be like a battle royale where sometimes you're fighting each other, but then sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you're fighting an enemy together, and maybe you can get some rewards for doing so.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
Team
cool.
up,
I
break
like
apart.
that.
Dark Zone.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a lot of other PvP VE games where it's like, hey, I know you want to kill me right now, but there's this big thing that we could take on. You know, we'll see how the player
Or stab me in the
dynamics work.
back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of Mike tactical crouching. Like, please be on my team.
A lot of
Don't
third
kill me.
partying,
Just help me out. Help me out here.
We then moved into Kirby Air Riders, a brand new title originated from the Nintendo GameCube classic racing action game Kirby Air Ride. Of course, Sakurai, the director of Super Smash Bros. Series, was announced, and it was announced to release this year. The trailer revealed a dramatic introduction of Kirby on his Warp Star machine and other Kirby Air Riders on a variety of unique machines as they join together on a racetrack. Kirby Air Riders will glide onto Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. And Kat, you called it.
Yeah, I guess I did. Sakurai.
You called a lot of things that people were excited about.
Well, in fairness, I was looking at the chat and somebody said Kirby Air Ride too, and I'm like, oh, that sounds about right. And sure enough, Sakurai loves Kirby so much.
Yeah.
He loves it because of his history with Iwata and HAL Laboratory and everything. So, he's kind of wanted a break, I think, from Smash Brothers. He's been very open about how hard he's been working on those games and how much is taken out of him. He did a really wonderful series on YouTube that you should definitely go and watch because he financed it himself as a gift to the games industry and a piece of really lovely history. So, look, I don't know actually that much about Kirby Air Ride. It came out on the GameCube in 2003. I guess it was a LAN multiplayer game. I'm one of the handful of them. So pushing the technology forward as usual, but it's just nice. It's nice.
Kirby's cute. Everybody loves
Yeah.
Kirby. When this happened though, my main thing was like, I hope this isn't the last one more thing. I don't want to end on
Yeah.
Kirby Air Riders personally, just as a non-Kirby aficionado. So when they debuted Donkey Kong Bonanza, at first I thought it was Mario. I got super excited, realized it was Donkey Kong, got kind of disappointed, and then let it play. And I was like, God damn, this is a game. Get ready for Donkey Kong Bonanza, a brand new 3D platforming action adventure available exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2. Crash, bash, and climb through nearly everything in DK's path and tear off chunks of terrain to swing around and throw in groundbreaking exploration. The more that is demolished with powerful punches, the more areas open up to discover. Break on through this adventure full of mayhem, surprises, and bananas when Donkey Kong Bonanza crashes onto Nintendo Switch on July 17th, 2025.
DK.
He's
Donkey
back.
Kong.
He's back.
Kong.
DK.
Breaking through all
Donkey
these
Kong.
environments, all of the, reminiscent of, having the way you can break through ground and walls and stuff in survival type games. Like, it's just so cool to see. Man, they're really trying to explore how much they can push this tech, because that's really expensive to do on hardware, to have everything sort of breakable, and you're seeing so much destructibility. It's Levolution, Mike. At its
I
finest.
love Levolution.
It seems because there was the Mario Odyssey mechanic where you could there was the yellow bricks or whatever that you could throw stuff at and it would break. It seems like they really fucked with that, and they're like, let's make an entire game around that. Which
I
that's
hope
cool.
so, Barrett, because the amount of joy that I found, I can't imagine how amazing it's going to feel with the HD Rumble, because the amount of joy I found through just walking through a shitload of marbles in Astrobot and feeling all of the vibrations and stuff. This seems like it's going to be very similar to that, where you are breaking through gigantic cliff face and there's a bunch of collectible coins and all of that. It's just like sensory overload. This game looks like it's going to be nonstop serotonin hits.
I just saw the Donkey Kong Country level, and that makes me think that this is Donkey Kong's answer to Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
A celebration of all things Donkey Kong, going back to the very beginning. There will be a Donkey Kong level where you're Donkey Kong throwing the barrels at Mario.
Oh, that'll
I'm
be fun.
calling it
That's
right
cool.
now. And that would actually be pretty cool. Set
We get
to
like a
Jump Up Superstar.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe we get a little Sticker Brush Symphony callback or something like that.
But I think we were already talking about this earlier. Nintendo really wants to revitalize Donkey Kong as a concept. That's why he was such a big part of the Super Mario movie. I mean, there's been rumors of a Donkey Kong movie separate from all that, because they see it as a huge part of their history, and he is.
Yeah.
Big part of their history, going back to the Universal lawsuit in 1980s. So from John Kirby. John Kirby was their lawyer. But
Yeah, I would have never expected Donkey Kong Land to be the next Nintendo theme park being created, right? So the fact that is it all just kind of makes sense. They are going for this marketing push.
it's Miyamoto, right?
Yeah.
It's
Marilyn,
Miyamoto, that's Miyamoto's game.
Yeah.
Mar in the super chat says DK Bonanza feels like a complete reboot of the DK IP. New art style, no signs of Diddy or the rest of the DK crew, K. Rool, or any Kremlins.
Yeah, where's K. Rool, man?
I think they'll come back.
You think so?
I think they'll be in there. This looks like a multi-world kind of setup, maybe similar to Odyssey. You see how they're showing different areas and spinning the camera around. So I think that there will be areas that have the Kong clan in there and the King K. Rool and whatnot. So we're just not seeing them right here because they want to keep the focus on the Levolution. Let's call that. Somebody called it Red Faction Gorilla.
That's good,
No,
chat.
they did a great
That's
job.
great.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. So I think they wanted to keep it focused on that, but I bet they'll show up in some level. Like I said, celebration of all things Donkey Kong.
And that, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, was your Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So much has happened while we've been live. We, of course, rated at the beginning. Andy at 10, then 9.5s down the line once we figured out we could do that. Are we still how do you tackle that in your own head canon? Because I feel like it was a great presentation, an amazing presentation, and then since then, that's where we're getting the lefts and rights, right? Of here's what the pricing is going to be, here's what's going on over there. I don't think it changes what the presentation was, but it's definitely left a different air around us as we wrap up here and go into games.
9.5. I'll go down to,
Okay.
but then I remember Silk Song back to 10.
But again, it's the presentation where, you know what I mean? It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Like, in terms of presentation, I would keep it at a 9, just the presentation in and of itself. How I'm feeling after all of this would be like a 7.5.
Oh, wow.
You're
Okay,
kind of sleepy, you know?
Well, just in terms of
I know.
pricing, in terms of game pricing, the context and why that's happening and what that's going to lead to in the future, that has brought me down a lot, for sure.
So I've been through a lot of these launches, and there's always a lot of discourse whenever they announce prices, announce a lot of things. I have no doubt that the price will be a huge discussion point all the way up into the release of the Switch 2. But as always, it's about the games.
Yeah.
It's about the games. Nintendo seems to know that this time around. They've put a huge focus on the games. Really good third-party partnership. Really strong mix of first-party games between Mario Kart World and the Nintendo Switch Online upgrades, and also Donkey Kong. If Donkey Kong is the Astrobot of this year, if it's on a Mario Odyssey level,
Yeah.
no one's going to be talking about that. They'll all be talking about Donkey Kong and how you have to play the best game of the year on the new Nintendo Switch, which, by the way, has 120 FPS and blah, 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 blah.
Hell yeah.
So if the games live up to the hype, then they'll be fine.
Do you see this, Cat, being a thing that immediately reverberates throughout the industry? Or are we going to see
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation, Xbox immediately jump up to 80 as well?
Yeah, Nintendo knows what's happening. They're setting expectations. It's going to, and other platform holders are going to follow suit. I would not be shocked if going forward, a lot of games start retailing for $80 or $100 in the near future.
Yeah.
This is it. Prices are going up. This is the first wave of the trend that's going across the entire games industry, and frankly has been for a little while now.
Just wait to buy that micro SD whatever card, express card, Black Friday deal, right?
Oh.
You can get a good Black Friday
That's
deal. on that
that's
Black
probably
Friday.
the cheapest thing you buy for this
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the cheapest,
Like
most
2
easiest thing
terabytes
you
for
buy.
$60 or something.
Exactly right, Mike. You love swiping the card. Is this price? What has it brought down your hype?
Yeah, the presentation wise, I'm still going with amazing. 9 out of 10, 9.5 for us. I think the presentation was a lot of fun. My feelings after this, I'm sitting at about an 8. A great. I was really pleased with this. I'm feeling good about the games. I'm excited to get there. I'm not the biggest Nintendo guy, so if I was, I'd probably be a little bit higher. But like right now, I walk out of this going, Nintendo Switch 2, hey, that's great.
I'm there with you.
Right there.
Again, presentation I think it was outstanding, right? Then to get here and have all this, and like I'm still excited. I still can't wait. It sucks, yeah, that games are more, but then in the long, it's this whole conversation of well, $10 more than what it would normally be, right? And then there's a million super chats I've gone through. I'm trying to get. Nicholas wrote in and said the price increase is harshest on Nintendo's core demo, which is kids. $60 was prohibitive. $80 is almost a full barrier to entry. Sales will be big. It's this push and pull of like again being an adult, being an old person. Like okay, $10 more than what I'm paying for other games sucks, but isn't backbreaking. Of course, the economy is in a very different spot. Where will it be by the time this launches? Who knows? Yada 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 yada. But to get back to the kids thing, it's an interesting discussion in how many. Is it going to be that every game on the Switch 2 is $80, or is it just Nintendo's games? There's a lot to figure out and sift
There will
through
be
as we go.
digital-only games, I'm sure, that will not be $80. but-
We're living in a world right now where free-to-play games are really dominating
Yeah.
the market as well. And people, these kids, the younger youth, are playing free-to-play titles like Fortnite, Roblox. They're on Minecraft. They're playing games that aren't these bigger titles. So we'll see. They still have the goods. We know they have great games, but
If I can
let's see where we're at.
interject, it's too gone. The chat's moving too fast. CJ Splits on was saying, to be fair, and it's not a knock against Kind of Funny, most the gaming press gets their games for free. Not Nintendo games. Nintendo sends us one review code and then maybe
If we're lucky.
2 for the others. So no, this actually does hit Kind of Funny.
I buy a lot of Nintendo games.
I'm not downplaying the price.
No, not yeah.
I think that video games in general will become harder and harder for people because the economy is going to get worse.
Yeah.
Nintendo also, though, has jealously guarded the value of its games because there's a flip side problem that the games industry has, which is that games come out for $70 and then immediately drop to like $10 or $15 on the latest sale.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't do that. People find that really irritating, but it has worked for Nintendo because it has kept their games from being devalued. It has kept the people from going, I'll just wait for the sale.
Yeah.
So It's tough. It's a tough one out there. Video games are a premium, very expensive hobby.
They're a luxury item,
and it's
right? Yeah.
hitting Nintendo too.
Yeah, Jeff Bull Jr. calls out that the yen is not doing good right now. Maybe another reason prices are so high globally. An interesting wrinkle that we're going to cover a million different things, but I want to try to give you a comprehensive Gamescast before Paris and Gary come in to talk about Games Daily. There is one going around about Game Key cards. Has anybody seen these? Nintendo Switch 2 Game Key card overview. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game on your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card. Basically, if you went to the store, rather than buy a box with a voucher code in it, you'd be buying a game key card so that you can't just share the card. You can't just share. It's DRM. It's just a new DRM, but a physical DRM.
This kind of technology has existed for quite a while, hasn't it? There have been plenty of games that are in the box, basically, but you have a download that you need to do.
Sure, but this one makes you keep the card, right?
Yeah.
So this is the idea that before I would have bought it and I would have had the physical code, great. I would have bought the code out of the physical box, put it on my system, and then it's just a digital game. This is, I want to play the game I bought with a game key card. I need to go into my library of game key cards and put that game key card into my system.
You just keep
Which would make me go, no, I'm never
now.
buying a game key card. I'll just buy the digital code.
Stop it now.
They're making it harder and harder to be a physical game owner.
They are. That is 100% correct.
Also,
Kat.
the additional premium for buying physical games as well is kind of rough.
100%. A couple more super chats to get you out of here. Patrick wrote in and said, might be alone, but Nintendo's crappy business practices suck the oxygen out of this one. New pricing of games plus upgrade costs of old games equals oof. And I don't think you're alone, Patrick, but I do think it'll be interesting to see how much that actually gets in the way of this being a runaway success. Everybody buys it and they're crazy
It's all
about
people are going to talk about.
Which is why I was so shocked by the play this game with your friends and they don't have to buy a copy.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything else has spoken to, hey, you got money. You'll be fine. Everything else in that presentation showed that they don't really give a damn, but except for that moment, that's the one that stood out to me as like, weird. I'm shocked they don't make your friends pay more, you know?
Yeah.
Taking a step back, it is a very different environment from 2017 really quickly. There's a lot of dedicated handheld PCs. It's not as unique. A lot of people have moved over to mobile.
Yeah.
So there are actually a fair number of questions facing Switch 2. Their biggest weapon is that they have the first-party exclusives, Nintendo
100%.
games.
We talked about the competition, me and Greg, of like, there's a different world now. There's a lot of people in this little handheld space, but yeah, the first party games really drive it.
And I think Mike brought up a great point earlier that, you know, this being harshest on families, I don't really know if the price would have necessarily mattered because families who aren't watching, you know, gaming news shows and aren't really fully in the know go, all you do is play Fortnite, play that on your PS4. You already do that all the time anyway.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting a Switch. You play it on your Xbox all the damn time. You play Roblox on the laptop I bought you 5 years ago. You don't need a Switch.
Well, see, I think that argument in a different direction that I think is interesting. It goes back to Matt Piscatella being on this show from Circana and talking about attach rates, right? I would see it being the parents, $450 for a Switch 2. It's a Christmas gift. It's a birthday gift. I know how much you played your Switch 1 for hours and it gave me, mom, a peace of mind to be able to talk while you did that, right? We'll get you that. Plus, it plays all your old games. Plus, you can keep playing Fortnite, which you're obsessed with. And then twice a year, there's some Nintendo game that you want on that. And that's even stretching it, right? For the way the kids in my life engage with their Switch, where it is, sure, Zelda, but like, I guess that would be the one game then, right? Then it's like, are they paying attention to the overall industry that this is actually more expensive than what a standard PS5 game would be at the moment? But who knows about the,
Yeah.
There's a lot that we're going to have to suss out as we go on there.
Really quick, do
sorry.
you want to see the home screen?
Yes.
I have seen it. Go for it. It's
looks the same,
groundbreaking.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Everybody.
Man, can you please upgrade this? Can we have themes? How is this the same as it was in 2017?
You will be able to get themes for $10 extra.
I was going to say
Unless for this
$2.99 a
one
theme.
theme that's included with Nintendo
Come
Switch Online,
on.
but the other ones will be $10 extra.
Why does it have to be so boring? Nintendo, come on, what are you doing? Be the
WNDs.
fun ones.
Throw them up. Volk Dasher super chat and said, Price and FromSoft game being an online multiplayer game have had a bit of a downer on me, but still first day pre-order. It's Nintendo. They got the magic. And that will be the super chat we leave you on to figure out what's going on there, of course, as prices are continuing to be all over the place in terms of what's going on and where it's going on. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, thank you so much for joining this episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Remember, each and every weekday, we come to you with a brand new episode of the Gamescast talking about the biggest topics in the industry. Usually, it follows Kind of Funny Games Daily, which gives you all the nerdy news you need to know about. But today, you're going to get it after the fact here with Paris and Gary. If you're on YouTube, there'll be a new link for you. If you're on Twitch, you can just keep watching. If you're listening later on podcast services around the globe, please consider subscribing, and sharing. Leave a comment on Spotify. And of course, pick up the Kind of Funny membership. $10 gets you all of our shows ad-free and a daily dose of me in a series we call Greg Way. Kat Bailey, you have been fantastic today. Where can people keep up with you?
Thanks so much. Follow me on Blue Sky at Kat Bailey. I have a podcast called Axe of the Blood God. It's an RPG podcast. I have tons of Switch 2 discussion over there. And we also just recorded a big 3-hour podcast about Cyberpunk 2077 for our patrons. So play it on Switch 2 and then listen to that. Patreon.com/bloodgodpod. Thank you.
Mike and Andy, thank you as always for your service.
Thank you, Greg, for a great morning. Thank you to Kat for coming in so early and hanging out with us. Shout out to Barrett running. I had a great day. I had a great time.
Well,
my day's not over.
I was going to say, remember, you get maybe an hour and a half break the way Gary talks, and then you get to go play Pokemon with Nick the rest of the day.
I don't know why you agree to that. Like, you stayed up playing, what was that game?
Schedule
one.
How late were you up?
12:30.
Mike.
We were working it.
Yeah.
Jen went to bed at 9:30. I was like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. It still took me an hour to wind down, but I was ready. It doesn't matter. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, that's been another episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.